Warning. The Dub Talk podcast may contain language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Listeners should please be aware that there will be spoilers for Gleipnir, so they may want to watch the series first before listening to the episode. Finally, the opinions expressed belong to those of the individual participants and do not reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. Previously on Dub Talk.
No,
if it makes you feel any better, Amon, I'll invite you on my birthday episode yet again, and you can just shit on me the entire time.
You know very well I will not do no such thing.
Amon, you are the most wholesomely nice person I have ever met.
Yeah, say that after we do the Gleipnir episode, Andrew.
You know what, Amon? I will do the Gleipnir episode for you.
Hooray, I get to force my friends to watch weird fetish porn.
Yay!
Amon, I mean this in full sincerity. I would watch weird fetish porn with you. That is how much of a cool guy you are. I would absolutely do that for you.
You're all very
Hell yeah, Fetish Porn Pact!
Amon, for your birthday, I want you to know everybody here at Dub Talk loves you and appreciates you enough to watch weird fetish porn for you.
You're very sweet.
Did we just make a blood pact to watch weird fetish porn together?
Hell yeah,
Yes.
Let's all watch Sallow.
Hell yeah!
No.
I don't know what you said, but no.
Fetish Porn Blood Pact! Fetish Porn Blood Pact!
And now, the thrilling conclusion. Good evening, listeners, and welcome to Dub Talk, where a bunch of nerds talk about anime dubs. Or, in this case, one friend drags three other friends into something gross and horrifying. It's considered the audio equivalent of making them drink just a really bad soda, and then you make your friends drink really bad soda, because spread the pain around, why don't you? I am Amon, and joining me tonight are my good associates who suffer valiantly. Andrew.
Just as an FYI, if the girl is doing doggy style to you, that's actually just pegging.
Megan.
Got my finest gimp suit? I guess you could say that I'm here for the Airbnb.
And Noah.
You know, it's really not appropriate to pet the puppy, but if you ask permission and he says it's okay, go ahead and go for it.
Yes.
Well,
and
also check to see if there's no red rocket.
Red Rocket?
you know, I complain, but given the show we're covering, that checks out. That's appropriate.
Oh, okay.
What are we covering?
See, there are gears in the head. They're kind of turning.
Amon, in editing, I need you to just put a countdown timer until Noah realizes it in the corner.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck my...
I was gonna try to keep it clean for this episode.
No, the
Why?
show isn't.
Why? Because no one's expecting it. No one expects the wholesome podcast about stepping into a flesh suit and aliens with, mind bending.
A flesh mecha.
No one suspects the clean episode talking about that.
I have been so excited to talk about this show that I kind of pissed myself.
Oh, God. Man, okay, sometimes there are episodes where we just set the tone early on. This one, we're just doing it right away.
Pretty much.
Would you say that you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals? So let's do it like we do it on the Discovery Channel.
Now, can you sing the whole song? Is the question.
Yes.
Oh no.
Sweat, baby,
baby.
Texas drop. I can't do it all right now because I'm laughing too hard.
Well, listeners, if you're off put by any of this, just turn the episode off. It's not going to get any better.
It's gonna get...
Also, if you clicked on this knowing what this show is and you're upset, that's your fault. I don't care. You did this to yourself.
There's gonna be at least one person clicking on this who's like a student at a university of like Norse mythology. They have no idea what they're getting into.
God damn it, anime strikes again.
More academics have to complain about how their Google search results are chock full of weird anime women and not the thing they're actually looking for. Anime, the bane of history departments the world over.
Hey, Professor, I just looked up Astolfo of Charlemagne. Why am I getting all these monster energy pics?
I can tell you, son. And you either don't want to know, or you'll find out on your own anyways.
Hey, boss, I know we're...
What are we covering tonight?
It'll be thicker than Lily's arm, that's all I'm gonna say.
But what are we covering tonight? Why, we're covering Gleipnir.
Fetish Porn Blood Pact. Fetish Porn Blood
Porn
Pact.
Blood
Fetish
Pact,
Porn
Fetish
Blood Pact.
Porn
Fetish Porn
Blood
Blood
Pact,
Pact. Fetish
Porn
Porn
Blood
Blood
Pact.
Pact. Yeah, we're doing it!
Blood pack, blood.
That's right, that's right, that's right. That's right, folks. We made good on our promise, and here we are, slightly delayed due to circumstances.
Damn human malware.
But we're here nonetheless. It's true, and I hate it. What is Gleipnir? Is that a word? Yes, it's a Norse mythology thing. You can look it up yourself. I don't remember what it is.
Gleipnir is a show.
You
Amon, may I say what Gleipnir is a show about?
Fine, go ahead, Megan.
It's about men getting pegged!
You're not wrong. But let us also read the description on Wikipedia so you can get a sense of... No, I'm sorry. Funimation's website. Thank you, Funimation's website. So we can get a sense of what we're talking about. Shuichi Kaguya is an ordinary student until he learns he can transform into a monstrous dog with a revolver and a zipper down his back. Unsure where his powers come from and whom to trust, he risks it all to save a beautiful classmate named Claire. This was a poor decision on his part, but we'll get to that later. He learns he's not the only one with a secret. He wants to use his monster's powers, no matter how brutal the violence or bloody the action. So yeah, do you like artsy trash?
Yes.
Well,
Please.
I have a show for you. Do you buy a lot of things that Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow put out? We have a show for you.
Are you here because you got really, really tired and started talking about an old Stephen Foster dub and decided to willingly watch the show, even though 99% of the time you would be off-put by this show? Then do I have a show for you?
Are you a big fan of animation studios who fell off the map years ago and are just really happy to see them return into the limelight? Then we have a show for you.
Congratulations, Mint Jam. You're back.
Pine Jam.
Pine Jam.
Sorry, Pine Jam.
Mint Jam?
Pine Jam. It's Pine Jam.
It is Pine Jam.
Look, I remember it was jam and a plant you usually don't make into jam.
Anyways.
Like Oleander?
It was legit. You want to talk about like a literal like glow up? This studio almost died because his production was a literal nightmare, and they basically didn't do any full anime projects for an entire year until Gleipnir happened.
And then Big Daddy Funimation came in with their money sacks and said, one fetish porn that is not actually hentai, please.
Yes, Daddy.
So it's just somewhere there's just a bunch of corporate guys going over the manga, and they're like, so how close to that line can we sneak?
As
long as there's no hyena girls penetrating.
As long as there are no fire girls who you grill on their boobs, I think we're clear.
You may, in fact, allow a cat-eared girl being inside of a digestive suit monster that is completely nude, where her itty-bitty bits are being covered up by his digestive saliva thingies?
It's mucus, Andrew.
Whatever it is, it looked gross.
Does it make it any
I know
better?
That doesn't make it better. That's what I'm sticking with.
I know.
Well, the show had to do that because, her hair's not long enough to cover up the naughty bits like all the other female characters. So it was either that or get kicked off the
I
air.
literally looked away from the screen at one point to, check some fan fiction, and then I just saw that there were 2 Claires, and I was like, why is one of the Claires naked? But then again, I'm the person who's like, herp derp Aphrodite, big giant Aphrodite titty lady from Hades is hot, please step on me.
I feel like everybody would fuck at least somebody from Hades.
I mean, I'd fuck at least 3 people from Hades, so...
Fair.
Just as long as it's not Cerebus.
Oh no, he's a good boy. We don't fuck the dog.
Cerberus
Except
is such
in
a
this show.
cutie patootie.
I mean,
Cerberus in this show? What?
Suichi.
Okay.
Anyway, Amon, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, this is it's good to get it out now.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's like that MST3K bit where they have a trial that involves panties, and Dr. Bobo's like, let's just say it now and get all the giggles out of our system. Panties, panties, panties.
Just the scene of like a giant like the fursuit from hell holding like the tiniest panties.
They were so small.
Small panties. Smanties, as you would say.
Somebody would
Anyways.
say that.
Where were we? Gleipnir. There's a boy. He turns into a mascot costume. There's a girl. She's dangerous.
This is the
shenanigans
darling and the
ensue.
Franks we wish we had.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is. Now,
I-
Megan,
I
Megan, I have to ask you a question.
I don't think the timing works, but I really want to think that the guy who wrote this saw part Darling in the Franks and thought, "What is this horse shit?"
It was in,
I can do
it was in
better than
2015.
this.
It was in 2015. The manga came out, so you're good.
No. All right.
I
Well, in
was
that case, I hope he saw it and thought, "What is this horse shit?"
All I know is, like, I was watching, like, the one Jijik video that I like, which is Darling in the Franks in 7 minutes with my friend, my same friends who I watched Lupin with. I was talking to them beforehand. And my friend Emmy looks at their little, like, uniform scarves and goes, "Man, they really are trying to drive home the whole gender thing. The girls look like they're wearing Ys and the boys look like they're wearing X's. Or whatever way the chromosomes go."
Well, technically, the girls have 2 X chromosomes.
Thank you. I can biology good.
It's not a subtle show, is it?
I'd like to thank
No.
the Zitz comic strip for helping me remember that.
No, it is not. It is about as subtle as motherfucking Zack Snyder. He put a literal crown of thrones on Jared Leto. Fuck off.
Is it said this show's probably more subtle than Darling in the Franks?
Yes, actually. Moving
I'm
on.
sorry. Let's be real. Darling in the Franks is about as subtle as a screeching peacock.
Anyways, we have a show to discuss, don't we?
Yes, we do.
All right, so you've gotten the idea. It's weird and it's raunchy and it's violent and it falls in that weird category of anime designed to make typical like straight male anime nerds uncomfortable on a very visceral level.
Why does Claire not let Shinichi put PP in her lady hole?
I don't think hers
I
is
think
that.
spending 2
Okay.
minutes around Claire will answer that question.
Okay, the answer to that is hers is not as big as his.
So she's
Are
a
you
hyena?
sure though?
There's
Anyway,
no
so,
way.
I'm
There's
on.
no way to steer this. Let's just please go on.
Yeah. Hey, oh look, a segue. Hey, we have some ADR staff to discuss. Let's talk about them. So, as our ADR staff for this fine venture, directing this, we have Amberly Connors, who also held some assistant directing work from Marissa Lenti and Damon Mills. And writing this show, we have Leah Clark. Amber, you would know for directing such shows as Actors Song Connection, Beat X, and Hells. Both Marissa and Damon also helped her on Actors Song Connection because that involved a lot of work. Marissa also you would know for directing such things as Nanbaka, and Damon Mills is wait, this was announced today, wasn't it? He's directing Supposed Kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies Moved to Star Town.
Yes.
Is that him?
Yes, that was
so
him.
congratulations, Damon. And Leah Clark you know for writing such shows as Chiyo School Road, Kami-sama Kiss, and Rabi Hachi. Megan, I feel like you have a lot you want to say about this show. Would you like to start?
I'm still laughing at why my PP don't get big. That's usually what I think of when really like dumb like horny weebs see a character design and they're like, oh, it's too conservative. It's just like, why my PP don't get big?
The classic meme to that is, "Aw, but I can't fap to this."
Let's be real, you can fap to anything as long as you're not a coward and it's not illegal.
Exactly. That motto, "Can't fap to this," that is the
I have to
That
add
is the-
the "and it's not illegal" bit these days.
Because there are people who will be illegal. We at the Dub Talk Podcast hereby say, don't do illegal things.
things.
no, don't
Never.
no, you can be gay, but don't do the crime.
You can
Okay.
do some crime, not all crime.
Not all crime. Don't do
Just
gay
no
crime. Don't do
no pedophilia, please.
that.
Yep.
Didn't even have to ask that, but yes, to the three of you out there who are like on the fence, please don't.
Yeah, so let me talk about the direction in this. This was a really good dub. Like, this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I knew it was going to be good because I've genuinely not liked something that sound cadence, like, I've never had a real huge issue with anything that Sound Cadence has put out. They're the studio that did the dubbing work for this. This wasn't done in-house at Funimation. And I like a lot of the casting. It got really creative. I remember when this cast first came out and we saw the people and it were like, what the fuck?
Those people don't live in the same
this
state.
Is a cast. Well, this is a cast that very much is what I think a lot of people have wanted for years with simuldubs, where you can take advantage of people being all over, and as much as the human malware has sucked ass, like so much ass, it has really helped with getting people from other states in, and I think that specifically Funimation produced dubs or Funimation funded dubs have taken this the best. I think that other studios are slacking compared to Sound Cadence, Kocha, and Funimation themselves. I know a lot of Funimation stuff like that's in-house does have a lot of regulars there, but you can look at things like Horimiya, like Dr. Stone, like Attack on Titan,
Kuma Bear.
Hero, Is Kuma Bear in-house?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, I forgot that Kuma Bear was in-house. Skate the Infinity, that these dubs have actually picked up a lot of outside of the state talent, and this is a dub that I think was one of the first that really helmed that initiative. And it works really well. I think all the actors are well cast. I think that there's a lot of really great director work in this. But god damn it, Leah Clark's script. This show is hysterical. It is foul-mouthed. It wears its affections on its sleeve. This show is horny. Like, I will actually say, it's a lot less horny than I thought it was going to be. Like, I was like, this is it? But when it's horny, it's horny. And there are just some great fucking one-liners. Like, Claire's fuck off. My personal favorite drop of the entire show, where a girl is floating in a pool and goes, "You're such a fucking slut," to Claire. Calm your tits, Shinichi. There's just a lot of really fun dialogue, and Leah Clark is a writer that I think if she can go to an extreme sometimes, and it doesn't always work. Looking at you, Nightmare Sauce. But when she is nailing it, like in this show, she's nailing it. And I've noticed that she's also kind of written a lot of Sound Cadence's other scripts. I believe she's also the writer for... Is she the writer also for Adachi and Chitamura?
No.
What the fuck else was she writing? Oh, she's Sleepy Princess. She's Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle, I think. Either way, I really like this dub a lot. By the time I was finished with this show, I was just like, 1, I need more of the show, and 2, I want to buy this. So, the dub really helped with that, because I remember I watched the sub, and I was just like, okay, I'll wait for the dub, and then I watched the dub, and I was like, okay, the show is great, and I'm glad that I finally sat and watched it.
Excellent. Noah, you go next.
I'm going to fully agree with Megan, because on the script writing portion of it, and I'm going to point out the first line where I knew it was a Leah Clark script before looking at the cast list. It's a part where, alright, it's first episode, Shuichi is trying not to get a hard-on, and so he whispers to himself, "Grandma's shaving, Grandma's shaving, Grandma's shaving." And it's like, oh, that saves everything. Like, that is a Leah Clark kind of line right there. Like, I guarantee that was not in the original script, not in the original Japanese. Because this show, it has to be really loose with all of the foul-mouthed teenagers in a kind of a High School of the Dead sort of setting where, you know, anyone could die at any minute. But there is a story here, and there is like, human condition beliefs in here. Like, the writer of the show obviously had some very deep thoughts about friendship, about companionship, and we'll get into those when we get into those characters. But I think Leah's script held on to those pretty well. She doesn't cheapen the emotional moment by jam-packing them full of jokes and one-liners. And when it gets to the more action-y moments and the sillier moments and the okay, you're right. It's not as horny as I thought it was going to be. You know, it probably, the show had a graham cracker before it started recording, but it is still nice and sexy enough for the kind of content it's going for. It's a good TV 14 kind of script. I will dock one point, though. I know it's a classic movie, and I know that everybody was probably expecting it, but you cannot throw in a damn dirty ape into the script just because one of the characters looks like a monkey. You just can't do that, Leah. I'm sorry.
Why? Why not, actually?
Why not?
It's too obvious. I'm sorry, it's just a little too wrought. It would be like if we jam-packed this script full of references to other popular memes that everybody knows of. But other than that,
No.
I'm sorry, what?
That's not a meme. That's a classic movie line.
No, I'm going to disagree with you because if the Planet of the Apes prequels can get away with doing that, I think Gleipnir's okay.
But those were good Oh, this is a good show too, but...
Wow!
So you do agree.
Gotcha, bitch!
Almost showed your entire ass on recording.
Checkmate, eighth monkeyist.
Ouch!
Isn't that like anti-evolutionist in that case?
Absolutely. I am pro... there's no word for that. Evolutionist? Is that the word?
No, we just call those people idiots.
That's just called common sense. Anyways,
Yeah. We're not going to make fun of Scientologists here, but I am going to...
Why not?
not with that attitude.
Because we don't have enough hours for that. But the people here want me to talk about Amberly Connors and how were the characters actually directed. And here's the other thing about this show is that by episode 2, I was under the impression that this was going to be a kind of a villain of the week episode because we introduced our characters at the beginning. We get the first bad guy they go up against in episode 2 who does not last more than that episode. And so
Yeah, I was actually surprised that she gets killed.
I was too. I was like, oh, she's got some sympathy, some backstory. Maybe she'll be like a recurring villain. And it's like,
Nope.
This is not FMA Dr. Tucker. This is FMA Brotherhood Tucker. She is not coming back in the future episodes. So, where was I going with this?
Where were you going with this?
The point I was going with this was the actors who do come in, I feel like we were all kind of expected to fear that any character who comes in after that point could die at any minute. So it was kind of hard to connect with any characters because you're worried that if you get invested in this character, let's see, if you get invested in the guy with the sword hands, or you get invested in the guy who turns into a two-headed titan beast, they could die at any minute. And so I kind of expected that maybe not all the characters would be directed as well because they wouldn't be around for as long. But there really weren't any roles or any performances that sounded phoned in. Everyone gave it their all. They were distinct enough from each other to match the personality types that they had. And everybody got in at least one good, one memorable line from Leah's script as well. And well directed by our ADR staff of Amber, Marissa, and Damon. So, to that, I say, excellent job. I have a lot of things to say about the visual aspect of this show, but as far as like the technical aspects of the dub, this is a good example of how to handle a from home dub. I'm not sure if we've got a term for what this era of dubbing is called right now, but it's a
recording.
Good one.
I'd say remote recording is probably the best way to really surmise it.
That's a good word for it. Okay, so this was an A-tier remote recording. I suppose Andrew here is going to be the dissenter of the group who doesn't agree with everything, right?
Let's see. I hate this show. It's terrible. This dub is... I can't even joke. I can't even joke. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And
no.
Puppies need to be thrown off of bridges, and...
Okay, that's a little too far.
No.
I'm sorry, the thing that popped in my head was actually that Yuma Kuriarashi, where the sister continuously throws her brother in a box off a cliff.
Okay, Yuri. Okay, lead with Yuri Kuma then. Don't. Whatever. Anyways, I do get that reference though, and I appreciate it. Yuri Kuma is one of those very, man. More people need to talk about that. It was the show. It was the Ikuhara thing before Zar and Zamnai. It's definitely worth your time. Anyways, Gleipnir. Man, okay, so I'll say this. A lot of points I've made about, like, the strives and benefits that, like, Sound Cadence has really been taking regarding, like, expanding their cast from all over in regards to the remote recording dub era I've said in another episode. I will just say I will kind of counteract with what... Not counteract. I will agree pretty much with everything Megan said about Funimation and Sound Cadence especially really taking advantage of the remote recording benefits. And I think this is a dub where that really shows itself really strongly. The cast and crew of this is really interesting. I think they are all directed spectacularly. They all give really convincing performances. They need to sound very good dramatic. They need to sound really funny and quirky. They need to sound cheesy. They need to sound goddamn brooding edgy. Like, I think there was a character that showed up for maybe, like, exactly, like, a minute and a half. They said a couple of lines. I laughed my ass off. I'm like, okay, that's the exact level of edge this needs. But I will say that, without a doubt, the script of this really makes this very pulpy, fun, and hilarious, while also making it really entertaining. It's like a good level of schlock and cheese. It needs to be serious and legit when it needs to be, but it also knows when it needs to have some levity and just fucking have some fun. And I think Leah's script in particular has really just benefited this dub quite a lot, especially in regards to me, the moment I knew I think this dub was worth watching. Let's do it. Doggy style. Now.
Doggy style. Yes.
That was the moment I was like, okay, alrighty. You got
Subtlety.
me.
What's that?
You fucking got me. Another one I liked. Their symbol screams edgelords was another one I thought was very fun and memorable.
Yes.
Also, a thing I admire. Not every dub can or should use the fuck bomb. Not every show would benefit, nor do I think any show that is like PG-13 deserves or needs F-bombs. There are some shows and some dubs where it's like, there should be people saying fuck right now, but haven't. Sometimes there are shows that really know how to use the fuck bomb at the exact right time. I would say good examples of this are both It Invaded and Blood Blockade Battlefront and Beyond, where they had exactly like one, maybe two fucks, but they dropped them at the exact perfect moment where it's like, ooh, damn.
My favorite, that has my, BBB and Beyond has my favorite fuck moment, and that's just Tatum yelling it.
Oh, it's so good, and, yeah, IDS I love because it's just Josh saying the fuck word, it's good. Anyways, Gleipnir drops the fuck bomb a lot, and I think it really benefits from the fuck bomb a lot. This feels like a show where people would just be saying fuck a lot, and they drop it just enough where it feels fitting, but not enough to the point I think it loses its luster. It's like they had a finite amount of fucks in their magazine clip, and they shot them just the right amount of times without needing to reload.
They did not run out of fucks to give.
They did not. Leah Clark did not run out of fucks to give. And that is my thoughts on the Gleipnir dub. It is great. Amber, Marissa, Damon, and Leah did a phenomenal job, and I was very entertained.
Schmaltzy cheese. I'm glad that you used that word to describe it. That's a very, like, it doesn't sound complimentary in some cases, but for a show like this, it feels like it's appropriate.
Schmaltzy? Anyways, yeah, I'm in total agreement. This show's great. I enjoy this show. It's a lot. I have a lot of fun, and I think this is a really well done dub for it. I think, like, the performances are really solid. I think the direction's really well done. I think Leah has a very good understanding on the material and, you know, when to load up on the F-bombs and the profanity and the slang, and also when to, like, pull back on it. You know, this is the kind of show that can have all that it has and also have the flashback episode, which is, like, tonally, like, in the complete opposite direction, and it's still good. Yeah, I can't name a good favorite one-liner. There's too many.
Oh, here, let me go down the list here. Let's see. Wasn't swinging by for tea, as opposed to half a Sunday. You're into puppy play, grade A babs, and of course, you are all good and fucked.
Yes! Monkey!
What else? Oh, and off of something you said, Megan. The show isn't as horny as it seems, and I think that I don't know if this is a distinction that's going to make sense to anyone other than me, but I think the show's not horny; it's fetishy.
Yes.
I don't know how much sense that makes to you people in the audience, but I think that's kind of the distinction here. That's what it's going for, and that's why it is the way it is.
And, like, even fetishy, like, it's not, like, uncommon fetishes these days. Like,
Unfortunately.
I mean, no, not unfortunately. My thing is, as long as your kink is negotiated and that you are sharing it with people who consent to it, go right ahead.
We are not here to judge, is what you're trying to say.
Only God can kink shame you.
And even then, he made the kink, so I don't know if he gets to judge too much.
Listen, man, sometimes you just want to see some monster fucking.
So sometimes you just want to see some great legs on a monster girl.
Sometimes 8 of them. Anyway.
Yes.
By the way, Megan, since I got you on the call here, do you know who was the Japanese director for the show? Just out of curiosity.
I don't, and I'm afraid to ask.
Okay, all right. It's not a name you're going to recognize. It's directed by a gentleman named Kazuhiro Yoneda. The reason I bring it up is because going through his credits, he's done our stuff for Pine Jam before, but one show that surprised me that he was the director on, Yona of the Dawn.
You know what? After the honey scene, that checks out.
Yeah.
I didn't make that connection.
Alright, let's talk about some characters, shall we?
Yes. This has
Right,
a lot more characters than I expected it to. It's got an ensemble.
Yep. So first up, we have one friend and a bunch of really awful people who want to murder our leads.
Which one are
starting
friends
off-
if not people who just want to murder you?
Enemies. Those are enemies, Adr.
I mean, in a death battle anime, which this show kind of sort of is, those are kind of interchangeable.
I saw someone online describe this as a death battle anime where no one understands what the rules really are, no one knows what's going on.
You know!
That feels kind of accurate.
That's pretty accurate, because even watching this, it's like, what the fuck do the coins do? What the fuck is the alien doing?
They grant wishes.
I mean, sure? What is
It's
100?
anti-capitalism.
Why 100 coins?
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I hate death battle animes. I hate death game animes. I think they are by far some of the dumbest, least developed, edgy bullshit schlock fests. And they're cheap, and they usually tend to not have very good dubs. Or they have good dubs, but they are not, like,
Giving their all.
They're
not even. They don't have they don't have enough rope to work with.
Okay,
It's
it's
not
not
that
that it's not that the dubs are bad. It's that they are not given enough good to make good with.
To work, yes, unless they actually take time to develop their characters and give them compelling reasons of why in the fuck they are there in the first place. That is why Fate Zero to me is the best death battle anime. Because it literally takes so much time to sit and be slow as goddamn shit and meander until you get to the end, and by the end of it, you are an emotionally you are a husk of yourself going, okay, Urobuchi, next shot as you line up the needle full of the UBW cocaine. This works to me because this series took its time to give Claire and Shuichi decent enough characters and to make Shuichi's character be tied to the goddamn death battle itself of why the hell we need the 100 coins.
It also has
In this essay, I will.
It also has the benefit of doing the thing that most death battle anime I don't feel do well, is that they don't give you all the answers up front, because they actually, a lot of death battle anime I've seen okay, what am I thinking of? Future Diary, love to like forward head you with all the information, like who are the characters, why are they doing this, what's the prize. But this show
Anyway,
trusts
sorry,
the
I'll-
audience to actually pick up the subtle clues and understand that by the first 3 episodes, you're not going to know why anything's happening. But if you hold on to your puppy pal, we will get you there in the end. You just got to stick with us a little longer.
Indeed. But characters. First up, we have Nana Mifune. Nana is a classmate of Shuichi and Claire's. She's a very nice lady. She's very smart. She's going to go to a nice college on a scholarship. She has really big eyebrows. She's a sweetheart. She has a little bit of a crush on Shuichi, which she
seems to get a lot of those, actually.
She's batting like third down the rung. Fourth down the rung.
But
She
it's
is
okay because she does get she'll get her own OVA in one of the fan approved spin-offs.
Like, poor Nana, bless her heart. For the best, it's probably for the best that she's not even like a bench warmer for him.
I feel like Shuichi does technically like her back, but as the story goes on, is like, yeah, no, nothing good's gonna happen to her. She shacks up with me. I should just nip this in the bud now.
She's probably the best off because she's not in this plot.
Go to college, have a normal life.
Get
Get the hell out of this town, you child.
your
You're too
bachelor's
innocent.
degree. Get on with it. Get a decent Japanese
Exactly.
career.
Anyways,
She's the nice person. The rest of these people are mostly awful. First up, we have Hikawa. Hikawa is another high school student. She got one of these coins and made a wish to be better at running. And she gets better at running by getting bird legs. And she's not really happy about this because it's kind of hard to, like, run in school activities when you spontaneously grow bird legs. So that's why she's keeps getting involved in this. We have Madoka. He's this fish-eyed looking weirdo you see on the screen. He is part of a gang of basically just colossal losers who have all found these coins and have all banded together in their loserdom because now they have power and agency for the first time in their lives.
Monkey.
He's kind of awful, but his boys are all very loyal to him because he cares about them.
He's
we also-
awful, but he's awful, but he's like the worst best boss of all time.
Basically,
No, I would say the worst boss would have left that one guy out to die.
that's like he is terrible, but he's a good boss.
He's loyal.
He's just a terrible. Yeah, there you go. We also have a couple of his dudes here, Taguchi and Morita. Taguchi can like sense where people are, and he wears this big handband on his head, and
He's Eraserhead.
Then he gets glocked.
yeah, no, he doesn't come to a very good end, unfortunately. And Morita turns into this big gross centipede dude, and he's the front line of attack. He also doesn't have no one has a good end in this story. I'm just gonna let you up front now.
no.
They don't.
I'm trying to
Oh wait,
think.
no, he gets punched in the face. He gets one punched.
Yep. And we have Subaru, who's a small child that Elena, who we're going to talk about later, has carrying around. He can basically summon up this horrifying two-headed monster he calls Mom and Dad.
Big
And,
honking titties.
And the big monster just squishes people who try to fight him.
It goes exactly as
Playing
well as
these-
you think.
Yeah, pretty much. Playing these characters. Nana is played by Xanthi Hyun. Hikawa is played by Dawn M. Bennett. Madoka is played by David Wald. Taguchi is played by River Canoff. Morita is played by Jason Marnoka. And Subaru is played by Suzy Young. Xanthi you know for such roles as Menma in Anohana, The Flowers We Saw That Day, and Momo Kawamoto in March Comes In Like a Lion.
She's also the
Dawn, you know.
platelets.
That's true, she is. Dawn, you know for such roles as Emperor and Kimono Friends and Setsuna Tokoge in My Hero Academia. David, you know for such roles as Murasaki in Drifters and the Narrator and Mr. Tonegawa.
And Lieutenant
Riverte-
fucking Sarumi in Golden Cowboy.
Yeah, that too.
Calm
That
down.
too. River Canoff has mostly done a lot of video game roles that I have not seen, but he has been in one anime. He's in Lupin the First playing Adolf Hitler. Because who doesn't want that on their resume,
Yes,
you know?
you do.
Jason Marnoka, you know for such roles as Gansuke Nanbu in Megalobox, and Headmaster Helvish in Hells. And Suzy Young, you know for playing Naoko Osato in Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan, and Yuri Hanjo in High Rise Invasion, both of which you can watch on Netflix now. Plug, I guess. Megan, do you want to go first again?
Sure, I'll go first. I'll start with Xanthi. She's adorable as Nana. Nana is the only normal human being in this entire show.
She's just a good, smart girl who's gonna go to college and have a normal life and never see her friends again, which is for the better. Seeing as she basically lives in the city of Fuyuki, and eventually Fuyuki's gonna burn. Shout out to all my Fate heads.
I got that joke. I got that reference.
I got that it was a joke.
Hikawa. Dawn Bennett was awesome as the angry growly girl. She says fuck. She says shithead. It was great. Then I like her monsteral side. I like the fact that she got some good death screams. Too bad she got and died. River Viate, who I am only familiar with because I've seen that movie. Taguchi sounded like a good thug guy. He wasn't, like, stereotypical, but he was also kind of compelling in his one moment. I like how he's literally, like, going, who the hell talks on the phone while they're gonna kill somebody? As he's trying to get his sword before Suichi just pops a cap in his ass.
I mean, it is defense. It is defense. If you're gonna commit, at least put your phone away.
Yeah.
And if you're
ain't nobody gonna win their GTA speed run on the phone. Susie Young as Subaru. I genuinely did not know that was Susie Young. I was super surprised. I've never heard her do a boy voice. I'm used to her playing female characters. I actually thought that was Emmy Lowe for a minute, because it sounded a little bit like Hototo from Hototo from Appare Ranman, which I doubt Noah's watched, but he should.
God, you should.
But I really liked it. I kind of wish this character would have showed up more with his giant... my thing is this, why is he naked while doing it? Like, why you gotta be naked while you're between Dad and your mom with her Hulk? And...
It might be a Hulk thing, you know? When Hulk goes Super Saiyan, what happens to the shirt?
Did you just say Hulk goes Super Saiyan? He hulks out, you fucking pleb.
Whatever.
And second of all, he keeps his pants.
Exactly.
He was, Subaru was buck naked in the woods fighting a furry. 2 furries, actually.
I mean, look, if you want to go to
Thursday right there.
If you want to go to some visual symbolism about his power, he's basically kind of like, maybe in like the demon womb?
With his mom and her huge honking
titters.
Sure.
Mama's huge titters.
And
7 titters ago.
And the giant gorilla hands on this demon stand. Okay, like some of them transform into furries, and some of them have stands, and then one guy's just a fucking camera.
He definitely.
Yes, we know who lost the.
Look, someone rolled a 2 on the D20.
It's like losing the Quark lottery in My Hero.
Sometimes
it's exactly like. Man. Oh my god! It is. Holy shit! It is exactly like the Quark lottery in My Hero. Fuck.
It's that kid in episode 1 whose Quark is literally just pulling his eyes out of his sockets. Like, is that ever gonna help anyone?
I hope he's got a good job security.
I bet you that kid's a Nomu now.
Ooh, probably.
And then, oh man, let me talk about one of my favorite performances in the show. It's Jason Madoka as the slimy-ass fucking centipede. James and the Giants, get the fuck out of here, the audacity of this bitch. He has, like, this weird... Did anybody else get, like, weird southern slimy uncle who probably talks about how you've grown into your bra from him?
You're not wrong.
Like, Jason Madoka is a man of many talents. And that talent today was turning a centipede into more than things that make Tokyo Ghoul fans cry. Just keeping a head in a bag and being slimy, and it was such a funny performance to me. Like, I was rolling. Like, I know I was supposed to be threatened, but the performance was actually really humorous to me, and I loved it. It is probably my frontrunner for Golden Ham Award, because it is just, But let's talk about the monkey.
Monkey.
Monkey. Monkey. David Wald is Monkey Man Madoka. He is really, like, awful, and, like, this is the David Walds that I know, like, before he's everybody's, like, scary skating Dio.
or
Please
your
watch Skate the Infinity.
or your super funny Riff Tracks the show narrator.
Sometimes he's creepy villain old men who are up in the woods and, burning down an entire village, an entire town because you might have a vampire infestation.
You gotta deal with that.
Gotta deal with that.
If you let it grow.
I find it really funny that this guy dies actually in a giant fire set on a hillside with poisonous plants involved. David Wald's a lot of fun. He's not only, oddly charismatic, but also completely threatening. Like, the scene where he's talking to Claire about making them kill one of their friends, you would totally shit your pants if that was happening to you in real life, unless you're Claire. I thought him working off of Claire's actor in that moment was fantastic. He was great. This is old school. To me, this reminded me a lot of old school David Wald playing villains kind of thing, but not in the way Lieutenant Tsurumi does, because I think Lieutenant Tsurumi's a little more unhinged with all the cannibalism and shit, and the brain damage.
And the brain damage.
But yeah, no, really great job from everybody.
It's really hard to shit your pants when you don't wear pants.
Monkey don't shit pants.
Would you like to go, Noah?
Let's see. Well, the hard thing about this dub is going to be, everyone fits into where they were put at really well. This isn't going to be like Sureduri Children, where you've got one background character who you're like, ugh, who let them into the recording booth? No, everyone's pretty well cast in this. My standouts for me are actually going to be Subaru, because that whole dime flip between you think he's an unassuming twink just walking around in the woods, and all of a sudden he goes into honkin' double titan beast machine is really terrifying. But he totally fits it even before he hulks out. So yeah, Susie's role on that kind of made that character, I think, more memorable than he actually would be, because he doesn't come back again after that. It happens to a lot of the characters. Same actually goes for Hikawa. That was one character who I'm like, I really hope this character keeps coming back. I wish they were the oh god, what's the guy with the X on his face from Full Metal Alchemist? Scar. Thank you. Just a character who you think would continuously come back at random moments in the show. But no, she doesn't. But that's okay, because Dawn absolutely nails it with all of the nobody the hell cares line shouting, the so much anger, the Taibo kicks to the face. This is a character who is so extra, and it's a shame that she didn't stick around much longer. Xanthi Wynn, it's Nana, is also very adorable. I kind of have to question though why she was in the show, because this is a very utilitarian dub cast, meaning everyone who shows up, I feel serves a fuller purpose. Even one character who we'll talk about a little bit later, she shows up in an early episode, and you're like, okay, and then you forget about her. But then she shows up again later, and you're like, oh, they planted her early on, clever bastards. But Nana doesn't really do that. She doesn't contribute to the whole coin collecting debacle. I think she's just kind of supposed to be there to bring us back to a sense of normalcy, to make us feel even worse for all the good things that Suichi and everyone else is kind of lost because they can't escape this death game that they're in. But that's okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
No, I agree.
Well, no, it's okay though.
She's the normal teen who doesn't get involved in all this and serves as counterpoint to everyone else.
Right. Which is good. I mean, it was kind of nice to have one normal human character in all of this. So yeah, Xanthi did a good job on that. And this is, again, a good example of, I feel, Sound Cadence's pulling talent from across the country. How many times are we going to hear a Funimation dub with Xanthi Wynn in it?
More than Megan, you'd think.
I don't remember which one you're talking about.
I could name at least 2 or 3 off the top of my head now.
Now you see, you're probably right, and you are a smart man and a handsome man. I have not been keeping up with all the latest simuldubs, so I'm sorry I don't know all of the ones that she's been in recently, but I need to look them up now.
I can tell you later if you want.
Sounds good. I'm gonna also agree completely with what Megan said about Jason. I don't have anything to add on that. I wouldn't have gone with creepy southern uncle who is impressed that you are starting to grow into your bra. I mean, I'm sure we've all been there. That's just not the first thing that came to my mind. But it fits for that character description. He died a brutal death. Like, his jaw was unhinged, and they all turned on him. Like, his whole posse just like, he's ugly. Let's just leave him here to die. That is harsh. I didn't want to feel bad for the Centipede Man, but I did. Damn you, show. River as Taguchi, he did a good job too. He I mean, I like that now visuals wise, that whole ragtag group of evil bad guys, most of them were just weren't animated. You'll notice that most of them were just like black shadows with red eyes, and it's a cool metaphor, or not even a metaphor, it's a cool visual motif, but it's also very convenient because that means that, you know, we don't have to actually animate the characters, or we don't have to stick to the model sheets for those characters. But this one guy did. He had a body to go with it. But yeah, Taguchi is totally fine for what he did. River did a good job. I also have not heard him in anything yet. I've been told that I need to check out Lupin the Third to the First, and I'm sure that I will do that before the year is up. But of course, everyone here is going to want to talk about David Wald. Again, I know him better as the narrator in Mr. Tonegawa, because that is where I think he shines the most. So it was kind of nice to hear him as a villainous character, and I know he's been villains in other things before. He's been a good ADR director, and he's been Wicked Bastards and other anime before. But in this one, here's the thing, is like, he has a line that really stuck with me. Madoka had this line of, some of my favorite people in the world are idiots. And I gotta be honest, that kind of struck me because, I mean, we're all good friends here on this podcast, and we all have other friends as well. I'm sure some of us have friends who are not the brightest bulb in the crayon box, but we would still stick out for them. You know, we would still lay down our lives for them. We'd take a bullet for them. We would take a milkshake to the head for them. And that's really refreshing to hear in a bad guy, is that, you know, he's got respectability, because he knows how bad it is.
We let Andrew still do this podcast.
Oh god, I was waiting for it! I was fucking waiting for it! I knew it was coming! I knew somebody was going to immediately throw me under the bus as soon as you were tracking that fucking segue. I knew it was gonna be somebody. Fuck you, I love you, asshole.
If it makes you feel better, I just cried about there being a dead lizard in my room, so...
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Shinya brought me a present, and it died in my room, and I thought it was like a piece of plastic. And then I realized it was a dead lizard, and I made my mom pick it up, and she's like, damn, this thing is rock hard. So it had been there's been a dead body in my room for a while, and now I'm a little upset.
Damn, this dead lizard is rock hard. Anyways, back to Gleipnir.
Sorry.
It's a little hard. It's gonna be hard to move on from that. Let me just...
The dead lizard or calling Andrew stupid?
Both. Because, well, I just feel like that goes against the whole lesson here. The lesson of David Wald's character is, you know how bad it is to be looked down upon, to be the loser of life, and you don't want that for any other people. And so even though David has a really good, like, low, growly, angry, pointy teeth kind of character voice to him, I still feel empathy for him. And it's not that I wanted him to survive. I didn't want him to catch up to the rest of the crew in that whole fire situation there. But I thought maybe there's something that other people could take away from this. Like, it's good to be reminded that even when the chips are down, you stick up for your friends. I think that's something we could all remember. Speaking of my good, best, handsome, sexy friend, Andrew, how do you feel about this dub?
Okay, now I appreciate you, but that felt like you were brown-nosing just a tiny bit. Anyways, love you, buddy.
And may I also say that you have a very nice car, and if you want to lend it to me, I would absolutely love to do that.
Alright, no thank you. Anyways, so, I love Xanthi. She is a adorable, precious bean. Nana is a good girl. She needs to get away from the plot. Sometimes there's characters where it's like, man, I wish they showed up and did more things in the plot. This is one of the few times where it's like, I see a character, I see every time they're in the show, and I'm like, God, you're so great. Stay the fuck away from the plot, sweetie. Please. Please. Anyways, Xanthi...
Just go home and not towards the anime.
Just go home, put some Spotify on, read a book, do your homework, watch some TV, maybe, like, do an embarrassing thing where you're trying to, like, lip sync in the mirror to your favorite, like, J-pop songs. Like, just do you, and ignore do you?
Are you telling
ignore the
Nana that you want her to
entirety
be a
of
TikTok star?
Yes.
You know what? Yes! Nana Mifune, stay the fuck out of the plot of Gleipnir and live your TikTok meme dreams.
That's not something you usually tell your precious cinnamon roll.
Oh god, you're sounding like a boomer every day, buddy. Ugh. Anyways.
You know what? I'm back on Megan's side now when it comes to throwing you under the bus. Can we get the bus a little bigger, actually?
Oh, fuck.
I missed something.
Anyways, Anthony was adorable. Dawn as Hikawa. I love Dawn when she gets to be these angry, raw, badass bitches. And god, Hikawa is such an angry, feral, raw, badass bitch. Like, I love when Dawn gets to do that, like, angry, feral, like, shonen scream shit. Like, I love when she goes, you know what? Just because this is Dawn, I love it when she gets to Hulk out as Femme Broly, aka Kale. It's so fucking good. I love how she gets so fucking violent, feral, badass as Kale. Oh, it's so good. And I got a similar level of energy and anger from Hikawa, but with just a couple more fucks. With a couple more fucks to give. Let's talk about, Madoka.
Caught you, you tiny murderer.
I'm not going to talk about Madoka yet. I'm going to talk about his squad. River Vatai. This is my first time hearing his work. He's got a pretty good voice. He's got a pretty stern, stoic voice. I liked him as the blind samurai guy who's trying to avenge his squad and then gets fucking, like, gunned down in the most bitch way. Poor dude. And yeah, Jason Marnocha is hamming it the fuck up as the creepy centipede guy. He does a great job. Holy shit, Susie Young. I could not believe that was Susie Young. You thought Emmy Lowe? I was thinking Morgan Berry. It's got a same level of, like, raps and growl. It was bugging the shit out of me. Steph had me guess before I remembered somebody I saw in the cast you wrote a while ago. I'm like, holy shit, is that Susie? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, no fucking way. This is impressive.
By the way, I have my tiny lizard murderer in my arms right now.
Tell it he did a good job.
No.
She did a good job.
She did a good job.
Sorry.
Okay, anyway, Susie did a fantastic job as this deranged, psycho, fuck-bomb attitude child. She was great. I love David Wald as an actor. I love him as a director. I love him as a person. I met him once at a con. He was the sweetest person. Just wonderful guy. Signed my School Live copy and my My Hero books. Just overall great dude. He was the ADR writer for School Live, in case you're curious. Like, he wasn't in that show. It's like he was one of the writers of that. But one of the most underappreciated typecasts for David Wald, I feel, is deranged psycho villain man. I say this because Lieutenant Tsurumi is genuinely like one of my favorite David Wald performances. Especially some of the stuff he's gotten to do in Season 3. If you're watching Season 3, you know the exact episode I'm talking about. But yeah, fucking... Madoka is a really fun... Like, I was expecting Madoka to be creepy, psycho, deranged Mad Max murder man, who was probably a psycho, crazy fucker, who was probably also a bit of a rapist. That's what I expected when Madoka showed up. I did not expect that he was going to be a deranged psycho murder madman who also loved his squad. He loved his squad of losers, and literally, instead of killing Marnocha's character, he pulls his teeth out to take his pain as part of his own, and, like, literally tried to save his squad when they were burning because of the poison flowers. I'm like, that's interesting. That's actually really interesting. I'm not gonna say it's, like, the most complex thing, but it is way more interesting and complicated than I expected from a character who had sharp teeth and I assumed was going to be a rapist. And it made me feel for him. And you're right, I did empathize with his fucking plight, even though his squad was a bunch of murder madmen. But God, David Wald sells it so much, and I was very entertained, and he did a great job playing Madoka, and I'm done.
Monkey Man.
Monkey.
All right. Where to start? Yeah, Xanthi's just very nice. Nana's a very nice lady, and I'm very happy she doesn't get involved in any of this because it would be terrible. She gets to go have a nice normal life, and she's probably be old and successful and wonder. It's like she'll briefly wonder, I wonder what happened to the guy I had a crush on in high school. I hope he's doing okay. And there'll be either there'll probably be some little bitter irony to that sentiment, but we'll find out at some point later. Who else? I just overall, like, I agree. I like a lot of these villainous characters. I think this show, as sort of upfront trashy as it is, I think it's also a lot more thoughtful than it lets on. Just even in the sense of, like, why is Hikawa trying to kill people? Because she feels basically she got a raw deal, and only by engaging in this game can she get out of it.
She went full monkey's paw.
Which is a lot of characters in this show when you get down to it. It's like, yeah, I got a bad deal.
You did.
I kind of regret it now.
Yeah, I'm surprised none of them like took their coin and be like, "Can I just go back to how it was?"
Yeah,
Then again, we wouldn't have much.
Yeah,
of a show.
exactly.
I kind of thought for a while, I thought that wasn't allowed. Like, I thought there was some stipulation that, once you make your deal, you can't go back to that. It was like genie logic. But no, we find out near the end that no, Suichi is given the offer to go back to the way he was before.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot going on here. Some of it is season 2 stuff, and some of it's just that, like, no one knows the rules. We're all guessing here.
Me sitting there like, please give the season 2.
I know, right?
Basically, all of the rules are written by the alien as he goes along, and it's probably inspired by whatever, like, Japanese manga he's reading that week. Let's see, it's like, it's like JoJo, but it's also Darwin's Game, but it's also a little bit of fucking, what else do I got here?
Species reviewers.
God, if it gets... Oh,
I'm joking. I'm fucking joking.
I paused and I considered it for a second. That's why I was like, you know... Anyways, yeah, Gleipnir.
See, Andrew, the problem is I've read ahead in the manga. I know the answer to this, and it's much worse.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think Don does a good job of, like, making Hikawa sound, like, really threatening, but also, like, someone who is kind of in over their head about this. I like a lot of, like, River's performance, especially towards the end, when you can tell that it's like, yeah, we're awful people, but we're together. We have loyalty and unity, and you took that away from us. Jason's just really good at being so gross. He's so gross. I think I also like Susie's performance a little similar to Don's, where I think Susie did a good job of making Subaru feel like somebody who knows they have a lot of power, but is also still kind of just a flippant, immature jerk, because they're clearly 14 or something like that. And David's really good here. I think he does a really good job of being, like, really menacing and threatening, but you still get that sense of that loyalty he has to everybody, where he is in fact willing to die to protect his friends. And I feel like that's a level of complication you don't see in a lot of shows like this, and I appreciate that it's there, and I appreciate that David's able to bring that out of the character. It's good stuff. Next. So it's flashback time, guys.
Yay.
Because at about episode 10, I think? 10, 11? After multiple episodes of this horrifying death game occurring, we find out how it started. And it all started with a group of friends. One of whom we're going to cover later. Elena, we're going to cover later because she's a little more important. But we have this group of friends. We have Naoto, Hanako, Aiko, Kaito. Them and Eleanor and Shuichi are all friends. They all go to this sort of technical cram school. It's really just a place for their, like, parents to go have them hang out until they get home from work. They're all buddies. And it ends up that, everything's going fine until one day they all meet back up again and they find out that one of them, Hanako, has just disappeared, apparently. And this leads to a lot of unfortunate complications.
So if I'm to describe, let me just summarize that the entire flashback
say
sequence.
the thing, Andrew.
The entire flashback sequence can be described as murder mystery Anohana.
Yep.
Andrew, I'm so mad at you right now.
Yep.
So to
No, I'm not mad at you because you made that connection. It's because you said it before I could.
so to summarize,
insert us to the comments. Why are you
I'm
booing
right.
me? I'm right.
true.
This is like if the Super Peace Busters really did bust some peace.
So
They bust some
Summarize
heads, more
briefly.
like.
Summarize briefly. Hanako goes missing. Kaito tries to find out why. Kaito eventually finds out that, who is it? Aiko had met the alien and introduced her to her friends. And then at some point after this, Aiko kills herself. Hanako finds her body before anyone else, goes to the alien, and basically, through her wish, basically ends up now, looks like Aiko, which is okay for her because Hanako's home life is hot garbage, and she always kind of was jealous of Aiko. And she basically says, like, Aiko's such a wonderful person, it would be legitimately sad if she were just to be gone from this world. Meanwhile, no one will miss me. She does this.
Except for, someone will miss
Because
her.
it turns out Kaito, in fact, wants to know what's up. Kaito thinks that what has happened is that Aiko has killed Hanako in some capacity. So he murders Aiko and makes it look like a suicide. And then only after this finds out, it's like, yeah, no, you murdered Hanako.
This is shockingly
For no real reason.
like, for what has been a mostly trashy, kinda tame show,
I think her name is Honoka, not Hanako.
I think you're right.
like, the entire flashback sequence about this group of characters was...
This show has been kind of
Like,
tame.
this was hardcore the darkest this show goes, and I feel like, I'm gonna mention, when they first introduced Kaito in this show, I laughed my ass off, because I'm like, this is literally the edgiest...
His design is so
His
dumb.
design is so dumb, and the things he was saying were hilariously edgy on a level of, like, this isn't even trying to be edgy, this is just hilarious. Like, oh, this is delicious. I wonder what kind of chuny bullshit happened to you. And then you see what happened to him, it's like, oh yeah, that would fuck me up too.
You know what?
You've earned the right to be edgy.
You earned your right to edge.
You know what?
Hey.
Sorry?
No, go finish your thought
I was
first.
just gonna say, yes, no. Not everybody deserves the right to be edgy in my book. When you've murdered the girl you're in love with, thinking she was actually somebody... when you murder the girl you love with because you think she killed your other friend and took her identity, and you want to avenge her... Because all of your friends have basically just decided, okay, let's just deal with the status quo and pretend this never happened and just live life as normal without talking to you. That would kind of fuck me up pretty badly.
Like, my thing is, like, yeah, he essentially, and it's not like he kills her, like, easily. Mm-hmm. He, like, goes behind her and takes his time strangling her out.
He Agent 47's her.
It's gruesome, guys. What can we say? Incidentally, hey, do you remember how I said I could compare something of this to an actual atrocity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you like me to describe that now, or would I talk about the character?
Let us talk about...
Oh, no, go ahead, dude. No.
Right.
No, I gotta hear this.
Alright, I forget when exactly this happened, but there was basically an incident where a Korean airliner accidentally flew into Soviet airspace and got shot down. After, and it was big tragedy. And after this happened, people would interview the guy who fired the missile and ask him how he felt about that. Do you know what his response was?
What? I was only following
Government cover-up.
Oh.
Government cover-up. fake luggage in the plane. He convinced to the day he died that this is all a big lie because it was easier for him to believe that than to believe that he killed a bunch of people.
Man,
and Kaito's whole deal is it's easier for him to think that what he's doing is right than accept the fact that he fucked up and murdered somebody by accident.
Somehow, Kaito is only dissociating the second hardest in this entire show.
Who's dissociating? Oh, wait, Suichi.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I was like, wait a minute, who's the first? Oh, right.
No, his memory's so bad that he's got TV static everywhere.
Also, did we talk about the alien?
Yes, also the alien. He's an alien. Him and his buddies were traveling through space and they crash landed on Earth by accident. And all the other aliens are in these little sort of coin-shaped sleeping bodies, except for him because he was awake at the time. And this entire death game thing basically started with him being like, "Hey, can you help me find my buddies?"
Because
God, was he on the?
I don't really know what I'm doing.
Oh God, you know what he is? He was the guy on the night shift that was flying the plane and fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh fuck!
And,
Shit!
Kinda.
Stop.
Because that's why this game is so confusing, is because he's the guy of this team that has no idea what he's actually doing. He's flying this at the seat of his pants.
Pretty much. He's technically just sort of as we see in the show, he doesn't really look like that. That's just a form they've taken to blend in.
He's pretty.
He's awkward.
By the way, I have to add. I'm laughing really hard because Andrew talked about this being Murder on Ohana.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to know who plays the alien in the subs of Gleipnir?
Who?
Who? Is it Jinta?
No, but it is somebody in the Super Peace Busters. He's played by one Takahiro Sakurai.
Oh shit! Wait. Sakurai. Who is Takahiro in Anohana?
He's Yukiatsu.
Oh shit! Yeah.
But if you can, I just want to give everybody like a really funny image of. He's also Reagan from Mob Psycho 100.
Oh,
so and like the first image you see in this series is his ass coming out of the vending machine.
Yeah.
So please imagine Reagan from Mob Psycho 100 crawling out of a vending machine.
Oh god. You could all. It also works well if you're thinking of Rohan Kishibe.
Rohan Kishibe crawls out of the vending machine.
He would literally shove himself inside of a vending machine for research.
If it meant fucking over Josuke.
Also, if it meant fucking over Josuke.
Anyways, who's playing these characters? Naoto is played by Howard Rang, who you know for such roles as Sikipasi from Golden Kamui, Sentaro Miya from Kono Oto Tomare, and Hitoshi Suguroku from Nanbaka. Honoka is played by Alexis Tipton, who you know from Kabaru Nage in Danganronpa 3, and Loretta Cristiano Amodio from Gangsta. Aiko is played by Sarah Wiedenheft, who you know from as Toro in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid and Lily in the Zombieland Saga. Kaito is played by David Matronga, who you know as Bertolt Hoover in Attack on Titan and Genjiro Tanigaki in Golden Kamui, and the alien is played by Kyle Ignasi, who you know as Hiroto Yasaka in My Roommate is a Cat, and as Mitsuba in Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Megan, would you like to start us off again?
Sure, let's start off with Howard. I think Howard did a good job as Naoto. He was very kind of calming, and also I apologize that my cat is crying in the background, but she knows what she did.
She knows what she did.
She demanded to come in here, and now she's stuck in here. She can wait or go take a nap.
It's just like this show. Be careful what you wish for. You'll probably get it.
Megan, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Hi. I'll have to get pictures of her to send for Amon to edit. Come here, child. Child, come on the bed. I will give you scritches. Are you gonna lick your butthole now? Okay, cool. I bet you the alien could... You know what? I bet you the alien guy in this show could lick his own asshole. And that still would be the weirdest fetish in this.
he could probably do that even without changing from his human form.
Exactly!
He seems flexible enough.
I mean, he could just do it. No one would say anything.
He would
like
listen
he's
to,
already got
like a
he's
Jay-Z
already got gender bender down in his tags. What's a couple more?
He would listen to that Jay-Z song 99 Problems and we get to the part where he talks about kiss my whole asshole and be like, let me give that
I
a
wonder
try.
what this tastes like.
Oh man, this show is doing things to us, people.
Oh, Andrew, like you weren't horny when you started.
No comment.
Aiko, Sarah Wiedenheft does a really good job as this energetic, cutesy girl, but I also love that she has to play Alexis's character as herself at points too, because she has to play Honoka being Aiko. Because I don't believe, unless I'm remembering this wrong, if her voice changed, but she basically had to play herself, play someone playing her character. And I think that she did.
She had to adopt the vocal mannerisms
and
of
stuff.
Honoka.
Yeah, no,
character.
It was
Which
definitely
is a
still
very
Sarah.
tough thing to do, especially when you're doing it in this very dramatic, traumatizing scene. So I really want to applaud Sarah there. Alexis as Honoka. Not only does she have to be the cute, shy girl and the very nice girl, which I think she does exceptionally well, she eventually has to become this monotone monster, where she is this being that goes around asking people who her name is, and if they say they know it, they disappear.
Which,
Which
man, also they sort of
That shit was fucking terrifying. That shit's fucking terrifying. She literally undoes you.
Boy,
that's gonna suck for people who are just bad with names to begin with.
Man,
Like,
Gleipnir
my name?
Gleipnir hits on a lot of existential nightmares of mine, including, like, memory loss and, like, just fading into nothingness. Like, oh, God. That disturbed me more than, like, the body horror fetish stuff.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
Andrew, did you have serious problems watching Marvel Infinity War?
I'm still not even... I am very behind on the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Andrew's going to get... Andrew's
don't
care to catch up.
I maybe will eventually, but right now it's like, I got My Hero, I got Spider-Verse 2, I'm good.
I feel like WandaVision would fuck up Andrew.
Oh, definitely.
I probably
That's also
would
a show
actually
about,
really, I probably would really like WandaVision too. At this point, there's just too much homework.
Yeah. Like, WandaVision is one of those I really like the show because it reminds me of a lot of things I like. I also don't want to have to watch, like, 20 movies. But, so Lexus has to be this kind of ethereal, creepy demon. And she does it really well. And the thing is that I think a lot of people really know Lexus Tipton for very upbeat and eccentric roles.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Shinya, what the hell do you want? Just come over and let me pet you. But she knocks it out of the park. Dave as fucking Kaito and his stupid lion hair. Maybe I'm a lion. He is crazy, but he's not like the crazy that everybody likes to praise in their acting, where it's over the top and hammy. That it's subdued and very like, oh, I fucked up. I'm gonna delude myself into thinking I didn't fuck up and bring back people from the dead.
Always goes great.
Yeah, and then just like, it just fucks with him. And like, Dave's really got that down, and just like, you're like so creeped out by it, and the scenes of him just being like, well, I loved her. Guess what? She's gone now.
She's Ray from the end of Evangelion. That's his power.
Oh my god.
Am I right? That's literally the first thing I thought with like the 20 versions of her.
I wonder if that was a direct reference.
I mean, it felt like it, didn't it?
Yeah, with the
Very
color palette
much.
and everything, yeah.
Anyway, and then Kyle Ignacci's as the alien is... I love Kyle Ignacci's work. I wish he was actually in a lot more stuff than he is. I love how he played this character as both smooth and a total dork at the same time. And, like, I love that he is supposedly the chill one of his friends. Because I think he describes them as being, like, cynical and, like, just apathetic at the same time.
They are basically uncaring,
fun.
amoral beings. And he's just
And
kind of doesn't care.
And he's just like, humans! Hey, you're cool! Look, I can give myself boobies! I can lick my own butthole!
I call bullshit on his explanation of, like, I'm attracted to your breasts because while I'm in this form, I have human emotions. Like, no, you were horny before you got here. Just be honest.
Let's be real, his favorite movie with Earth Girls Are Easy. Thank you to all 5 of you who are over the age of 30 who got that joke. But no, I genuinely liked it. I genuinely liked that there was this kind of, like, his voice was warm, but his tone was not. Whereas, like, this guy sounds like he's nice, but I'm pretty sure if I agree to him, this is how the monkey paw curls. But I'm gonna do it anyway because humans go ooh shiny. So, I really, again, I overall really liked these performances, and I really gotta hand it out to the entire crew that did episode 10. Like, that was genuinely, like, I think, was it 10 or 11? Or 12?
I think it was 11.
I think
Oh, no,
I
it
think
was
the
12.
flashback was actually 12.
It was
Yeah,
second to last episode, you're right.
Episode 12
Yeah.
flashback was probably one of my favorite episodes of anime, and I think some of my favorite dub work I've heard from Sound Cadence in a long time, and I like a lot of Sound Cadence stuff. So, just that episode just knocked it out of the park in terms of tension, dramatic acting, writing, and just chef's kiss.
Swedish chef kiss?
No, would you like to go next?
Yes. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Muppet Show recently. A lot of good episodes in there. A lot of celebrities I've never heard of before.
Yep.
Speaking of people I have never heard... Actually, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. The last section had a lot of talent that I'd never heard of before, and I'm glad that I got to hear them in that. This group, though, by contrast, are some of the old... I won't say old staples of Funimation, but the names that you've probably heard of quite a bit before. And for good reason, too, because they're really good at... none of them really have really distinct, standout vocal voices that, like, you could pick them out in a crowd exactly, at least in this particular dub. And I feel like that was very much intentional. Aside from Aiko's, like, 11 out of 10 over-the-top personality, everybody's just kind of, like, supposed to be kind of, like, high school average. Is it high school? It is high school, yes.
Yeah.
And that comes across really well because it means that you don't expect what's about to happen. You're like, okay, so we're following these kids in what's essentially daycare. Okay, they're friends. They re-meet each other up a couple years later. What's gonna go wrong? And then we find out exactly what went wrong.
Quite
So
literally everything.
Just about everything that could go wrong does absolutely go wrong. So, to give credit where it's due, yes, Alexis Tipton's voice is something that I'm used to for her more over-the-top and very chipper voices. Her son from My Bride is a Mermaid, that kind of voice. So it's kind of refreshing that she got to play not a dull character. There's an actual like emo girl we'll get to in the next section, but in this one it's more of a she's kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? She's content with where she is. She's kind of consigned to where she is, and because of that, I feel really bad for her. And yeah, getting to hear Sarah's performance works off of that really well. It's like, yes, I know people who are good friends with each other who are like complete opposite personality types here. Like these two would absolutely crush it on like Laurel and not Laurel. What am I thinking of? Thelma and Louise. There we go. In 50 years from now, they're gonna make a kick-ass Thelma and Louise movie. I'm just throwing out all the references I can think of here right now. Howard Wang is probably the one who probably going to get the most compliments on this section, just because Naoto is the straight man in all of this. He he survives what happens when they re-meet each other. He's still part of the game, but he doesn't really get to do too much. But that's okay, because we need someone who is more of the straight man in this part of the show. So yeah, Howard, you did a good job. As for David Matronga, my God, it's interesting that Megan, that you said you would describe Kaito as being a crazy personality type, but not the kind that people would like to cheer for. And you're right, that's true. Although I feel like maybe we shouldn't cheer for crazy people too much here. Like I already felt a little bad cheering for the bad guys in the last section here. Like, should I really be cheering for David Wald's character? I really feel like I shouldn't be. But that's okay, because the show gave us Kaito then, and no one's supposed to feel bad for this guy. Like, who among us looks at the situation and thinks, well, the logical step, I gotta choke this girl. I gotta hang her. It's just, there's no other solution.
The only solution to murder is more murder.
See, here's the thing. I don't think it is a good idea he came up with, but I feel like without I feel like there was enough bullshit going on with the scenario that I feel like jumping the gun was kind of a little more reasonable than you'd think. Especially the fact that he is, I don't know, kinda getting fucked with by all of his friends. And they're just kinda like, I guess this is just our life now,
like,
and
they
we just
also
have to
just,
accept
they should
it.
have... Yeah, like, him going crazy isn't also just because, like, he decided to go snap the neck for an eye. They left him out to dry.
They kind of fucking abandoned him in, like, a really preposterous, kind of emotionally, like, traumatic moment. Their thought was just, let's just continue our life. Even the guy who's dating the girl who's not actually his girlfriend. That would fuck you up. I don't think he made the right decision, but I don't think he's wrong to jump the gun in his traumatized, fucked up state of mind.
Although considering that this was his reaction to finding everything out, maybe his friends had the right instinct that maybe this guy isn't the kind of guy who we want in on our secret.
I mean, fair, but at the same time, at this point, all of them kind of seem a little sociopathic.
And that is what actually happened in Anohana. So, good, fun, happy, upbeat, cheerful story.
I mean, look!
In Season 2, they're all gonna play hide and seek.
Okay, look, everybody in Anohana's dealing with trauma, but nobody just straight up was like, okay,
time to do some murder.
Yeah! Anyways.
In the mild defense of all these characters, they are all supposed to be, like, 16 at most, maybe? These are not scenarios they should be having to navigate.
Okay,
anyway.
fair enough. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Bad people can make very interesting characters as the kind of thing where it's like, no, we should have bad people be interesting characters in media. It's just a matter of you have to write a bad character good instead of just writing a bad character badly.
Right, that's the entire cast of, like, Bakano and Durarara. Awful people, interesting to watch.
And also, you kind of make a bad story if you make somebody who is a good person a bad character, or don't... God, where the fuck am I going with this? We're here too long.
Character writing hard.
Character writing hard.
So I'm gonna say that, like, in the whole story of this entire show, the puppy suit that you walk inside, I can buy that. The alien with the coins thing there, I could buy that. But this whole thing with, the guy who, despite the trauma he's going through, deciding that time to do more murder, that was the leap in logic that was the hardest one to make. Like, I'll buy that. Okay, we needed a way to get the story underway. We needed to have a more traumatic event in here. Fine, let's go with that. But that was just the thing that took me the hardest to adapt to. Still, David, he did a good job. I'm trying to articulate if there's anything here he had to do was stand out-ish. But the fact is, you don't always get the slimy sounding characters who do the bad things. A lot of times it's just the next door neighbor who you would never suspect. Nobody suspects David Matronga. So it fit very well with what the character was supposed to do.
What next door neighbor do you know has a fucking lion mane?
Let me check.
The Komodo friends?
It's not a lion mane, but do mohawks count?
Sure. Anyways, moving on.
Anyways, like Megan was saying, I also wish Kyle Ignacy was in more stuff too, because he's a pleasant sounding voice. When I heard him as Enokita in Hakata Tonkotsu Ramen, I was kind of hoping that I'd hear him in a lot more stuff after that as well. So it's nice to hear him in this. I'm used to aliens who are stuck on Earth and become infatuated with pop culture to be more like, Invader Zim or Sergeant Frog. You're a little more wacky, a little goofier, a little more, they're never going to take over the world. So it's kind of nice to have an alien who's more chill, just a more casual otaku who's really into the nerdy stuff he's coming across, while still absolutely having no idea what he's doing. He's just I want the coins. This girl suggested making it a game, so sure, that sounds logical. And it is interesting that his entire shtick is just trying to be the most unassuming kind of human you could be. He could have chosen to be any human. He could have been a Schwarzenegger bodybuilder. He could have been Jessica Rabbit. He could have been Doc McStuffins. He could have been anything he wanted.
He went with the Shoujo Pretty Boy.
And that is unassuming. No one suspects him. Aside from the fact he's living in a junkyard, aside from that, you're right. He's the most unassuming. So story-wise, it fits pretty well. And Kyle was pretty perfectly cast for this entire role. It's a shame that, I kind of assumed that, and you can tell me, Amon, if I'm right or wrong, but are there, side chapters or bonus content in the manga that's just, him goofing around and discovering new things about the human world?
No.
Okay, well, they totally should.
He seems pretty stationary. Maybe it's mostly just he'll read some manga, but he's just kind of content just loafing around in a spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, for the Super Peace Busters group here, so pretty well cast, and another good example of how the show doesn't give you all the information in a linear fashion. It likes to give it to you in a Pulp Fiction manner, and if you're on board with that, then you will be in for a good time.
Alright. Andrew?
Alright, so I'm going to keep this short for a couple of them. Howard Wang does a good job as the kinda soft-spoken, edgy boy who just kinda deals with the fact that his girlfriend's dead. I think Alexis Tipton and Sarah Wiedenheft do a really, really good job for what are basically one-episode characters. Alexis does a good job being the kind of quiet, meek girl who's just kind of dealing with the fact that her life sucks and wants to be somebody else because she deserves to be forgotten and her friend deserves to be remembered. I think Sarah Wiedenheft does a great job being energetic, cutesy, and bubbly, but also really sells it when she is also being Honoka as well, as a lot more damp, subdued, and kinda a little, traumatized. She watched her friend hang herself and just kind of decided I shouldn't be her because she deserves to live and I don't. There's a whole lot of we don't have time to unpack all of that, but that shit's heavy for this. David Matronga, he introduced himself as a goddamn edgelord, and then I saw him kind of descend into madness and disassociate harder than a lot of things I've ever seen before. Holy shit, David Matronga sells it really well for a character who's also in this for 1 or 2 episodes. And Kyle Ignacy as the alien is delightful. He is kind of goofy. He's a little weird. I forgot who said it, but it was basically he says things very light and jovial-like. Well, not the things he said aren't very light and jovial-like. He's just got he's a very weird person who doesn't really mean well, but he doesn't mean wrong, but he doesn't mean right either. He just is.
Mean.
He just means. He is just there. He feels true neutral, is the way I describe him. He does not have any real monkey's paw. He just kind of is. He doesn't have a monkey's paw, but he also doesn't even really have a fucking game plan. He's like, his roadmap for his game is about as clear as it was for Anthem. I'm just gonna let that one sink in. But no, Kyle Ignacy is delightful. I love him being a very goofy, kind of insane character. He's a little more subdued here, but I love it when Kyle gets to be really hammy and very absurd. Like, I'm thinking of characters like... Honestly, the first one that comes to mind, just because it's technically another sound cadence thing, is Giovanni Potage in Epithet Erased. Is like, if you want a really fun Kyle Ignacy role, that's a good one to watch. Like, he is a ton of fun in that. I see a little bit of the alien in Giovanni, but Giovanni's also way more like high-strung, high-energy, kind of insane dork. But no, I love Kyle as the alien. He's just this weird, strange character, but he just is really compelling.
All right. Let me see. I think Howard turns in a good performance. He kind of has to play like generic dude for a little bit, but I think he's good at that. And then later on, he turns into this cloak wielding angsty guy. I think he sells that really well. I think Alexis and Sarah did a really good job as their characters. I think they did a good job as that the weird one's is the other but has to play as the other kind of thing, and I think they do you do get some of that in there, and I think that's well done. David does a really good job as Kaito, as just being he doesn't look very threatening, but you can just tell that this is bad news all around. And Kyle's just I like what Megan said of what was it, friendly but not warm?
Yeah.
I think that really gets at it. It's there's something there's something off about him, and it doesn't quite raise alarm bells necessarily, but it's maybe this isn't a great idea, but maybe you don't realize that until it's a little too late. These are great performances. I like them a lot. So next we have a fun little group. Shuichi and Claire, during their little coin hunt, come across this group of people who have sort of banded together to come hunt for coins. And they kind of sort of force themselves to become part of the group. It turns out okay for them, give or take.
Except when it doesn't.
Fire. Yes, and also one guy who isn't part of that group. We'll talk about him in a minute. So in that group, we have Sayaka Koyanagi, who is the leader of the group. She wears a hockey mask. She's gay and has a tragic backstory.
Let's call her Lesbian Voorhees.
Yes.
I was just gonna call her a power top.
Not the person I was expecting to make that joke. All right, let's go with that. She's in charge, and her power is she can basically make this little sort of mystic necklace thing go into your neck, and if you betray them, your head pops off.
She's got the coolest power in the show. As soon as I heard what her
and she has her power because unlike everybody else, she came in with a clear vision in mind.
Yep.
I'll also say there's also something kind of morbid about the fact that it wraps around your neck when her whole trauma is that the person she was in love with hung themselves. Actually, okay.
That's not coincidence.
Hung herself.
That is called irony.
Yeah. Yeah. The show in certain ways reminds me a little bit of Darker Than Black, which I thought also did a very good job of giving characters powers, but being kind of creative about it, and not just kind of the standard stuff you usually see in superpower shows.
I still say Bungo Stray Dogs kind of takes the cake with that, because there are some pretty fucking great powers in that. Capitalism. Literally, Scott Fitzgerald's power.
Is
I'm sorry, no, is Cap. Noah, I have to make you understand that this guy's, because I know Noah hasn't seen it, and I don't know, Amon, if you've seen Boon Ghost Stray Dogs all the way through.
No.
Been meaning to.
F. Scott Fitzgerald's power is the stronger. He gets stronger the more money he spends.
You know, I know why they gave that to Fitzgerald, and I know the gimmick of Bungo is that they're all writers, but I'm really disappointed that's not Henry Ford's power, because that feels like what Henry Ford should have.
I mean, Herman
Henry
Melville's
Ford wasn't
power
a
is
writer.
literally making a Sky Whale battleship.
Yeah, that works. Anyways, next up we have Chihiro Yoshioka. She's just a nice, sweet girl who has cat ears now.
Okay, Chihiro
She's in the
is
puppy play.
basically Chihiro is the Nana of the group who didn't avoid the plot.
She
Yeah.
also might be a furry.
She is the
bit.
sweetest
She just
little
wants to be a
sweetheart.
vet.
I love her. She's
Uh,
precious. She deserves good things. Too bad she's in a murder show.
She would
I know.
totally fuck in her fursuit.
Can't deny that.
Shortly after meeting, she and Shoichi go into the woods to go find her wallet, which she dropped. They end up, and she ends up going around in his bodysuit just sort of to make things faster. They get in a fight with Subaru, and they kind of just end up bonding into this horrifying little gun-toting cat girl
Okay,
thing
that
just
was
leaps around
fucking
and
rad.
murders everything.
That was fucking rad. I was losing my shit when I saw that thing. I'm like, that's so fucking cool. But
What?
also freaky. What?
The metamorphosis.
Oh yeah, that was fucking baller.
It
Look,
it was like a
as
a
well-
better elfin lead.
Oh my god.
I mean, Andrew, that's
As-
not a very
as-
high
as-
bar to clear.
That is.
It's not.
You
But
don't-
tell me that didn't look a little bit like Lucy.
It looked a little like Lucy. It looked
Lucy.
like Nana. Yeah.
As people who watch the show will notice, of course, Good Smile is one of the people who helped make the show, and here's your answer why. Instant figurine money. You can slap $200 on that and make a
I
million.
believe
Hey
that
kids,
they actually
do you
do
want
have
a
a
murder
figure.
cat girl?
Oh, I know that.
Hey kids, do you want a murder psycho cat person? Actually, yeah, no. It's not girl. It is cat person. We're working on
Shadow cat.
working on Stevani rules with this. Chihiro and Shuichi become a non-binary violent murder cat person.
Yes, that Good Smile does have a pop-up parade of Chihiro and Claire, and I am actually going to hope that when she comes into being on sale in the normal shop, I'm actually going to buy the Claire. I'm sorry, I'm going to be buying the
good one.
Chihiro, because that Chihiro figure is cool as fuck.
Anyways, let's
yeah.
see. Shuichi and Chihiro. Chihiro looks
Anyway.
awesome.
Anyways,
No, Andrew, you're missing the obvious name it should be. One's a dog, one's a cat. Cat dog.
Noah, I will literally fucking throw this
One
knife.
fine day with a
to
wolf and a
tweet-
purr, baby was born with a gospel. No, we put no feline dog, just a feline canine little cat dog. Cat dog!
Dog.
Cat
dog.
dog!
Dog!
All over the world, a little cat dog.
these anime remakes are getting weird.
Adam's dog are back in town. All time.
Anyway.
I was
Gotta
trying to
gotta
be
get
respectful.
along, they gotta sing this
The thing
song,
I
cat
learned
dog.
today.
I was
Megan
trying to
can
make
Cat
a
recite
dog.
all the Nicktoon theme songs.
Alone
Not
in the
something I
world with a
expected
little
to
cat
learn.
dog.
Alright.
I was trying to make a
Alright, so-
respectful Steven Universe reference, and then it became Cat Dog. Which, you know
No,
what?
Megan,
Nothing
Megan.
respectful about this show. Your effort was in vain.
All we
So are
ask
you
is
telling
Danny
me that?
Phantom
Are you
theme song.
telling me that cat dog is a fusion and they are in fact a crystal gem?
This is, you know what? This is getting way above.
Fusion is just a weak Fusion is just a weak trick to make weak cartoons stronger.
I see. Anyways,
Is pecking considered fusion?
Okay, and now
So
we're
who
done.
else is in this cast?
Now we're done.
There's also Yota Murakami. He's this skinny, handsome guy who awkwardly hits on Claire.
Come
a lot
on,
and gets
Claire
shot down
Bear,
repeatedly.
fuck off!
Fuck off.
Yep. But but here's the secret. He's actually the only one in the group who can fight because his power is basically just he can fuck you up real good. He just one punch. He just
The
one
One
shot
Punch Man.
Centipede Man's head off, doesn't he?
He
doesn't
goes
try,
all might.
not his
that's
head,
it.
but his jaw.
That's right. Yeah, he'll fuck you up real good. We also have Isao Kasuga, who turns into this big, sort of hairy, kind of Yeti-looking monster.
I like,
and he can make plants grow.
I like the fact that everybody is just assuming that he is the powerhouse of their group when it's actually just the fucking playboy fuckboy. And I like the fact that no, he's just a sweet little boy who likes to plant stuff really good, who also kind of gets traumatized and probably a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder when he kind of inadvertently kills a bunch of people.
They kind of did that same. They did that same trope with Greg Ayers' character in My Hero Academia, where it's like, it's the big, tough, rocky-looking guy, and you think he's a tough guy, but no, he just likes animals.
Okay, that's what you meant. I was gonna be like, Coda hasn't murdered anybody. What the fuck are you on about?
What? Greg Ayers is...
Anyways. Isao is this Grusian's group of that one X-Men kid whose power is just that he knows all languages, which is a very useless power in X-Men and otherwise a very useful power if you're in any other scenario. I mean, who wouldn't want to have this guy on his team? He makes plants grow. It's so cute. We also have Miku Aihara. She's a convenience store clerk who can turn invisible. She and Sayaka have a complicated relationship.
Do you want me
in
to
that
heat
they both
that up
like
for
each
you?
other. In that they both like each other, but Sayaka has a lot of
of personal traumatic romantic baggage to deal with, and Miku really wants to warm up her heart for her, but Sayaka's kind of got a lot of trauma and therapy she's kind of got to deal with. I ship it totally though. Totally
fucking slut.
Okay, God. Okay, yeah, no. She is the character where it's like she's just floating in a pool and she just says such a fucking slut and is like, oh, that's so fucking funny.
And we also have Ikuchi. Ikuchi, his head can turn to a camera and he's terrible. He's the worst.
It's not NTR if you're. It's not NTR if you're not in a
popping
relationship.
into the chat now.
Okay, no.
Is
Let
this
me explain.
NTR?
No. Shut the fuck up.
Please
Shut the
tell
fuck
me
up.
this isn't NTR.
No. Let me explain the context. The context is literally I'm watching episode 6 where Chihiro is bonding with Shuichi and they're being very cute together. And
Really bonding.
You should get inside of me to make this faster because they're trying to. They basically go into the woods, try to look for her wallet, and then they get inside of each other as most porn scenarios start. And literally, he follows them the entire time, and he is filming Chihiro going inside of Shuichi. So as I'm watching this, as he's filming them and he's crying, I'm literally just like, okay, I'm on episode 6 now. Is this NTR? Motherfucker, is this dude filming his own cucking?
It's not NTR if you're not in a relationship.
That is the exact thing he said.
It does not count.
It's not technically NTR because NTR requires them being in a relationship. He's merely a bitter loser, said one Amon.
It is literally that meme of a man and a woman next to each other like, I consent. And then Jesus is off on the side said, isn't there somebody you forgot to consider?
Your camera friend.
The guy filming the porn.
Let's be honest, Ikeuchi would still fap to it.
He'd cry while doing it too.
Yeah, he would. Both of those things. So that's their little friend group, but there's one other person they meet up with who they become friends with, and his name is Tadanori Sanbei. But he's this comically enormous high school student who turns into this big knife monster, and he really just wants to fight people who are strong. That's all he wants in life. And he basically becomes friends with Claire and Shuichi because it's like, hey, you guys are strong. I like you. Let's be friends.
Did you just turn into Rocky Balboa for a second?
I mean,
I want to go the distance.
He does want to go the distance, just, in murder fights.
As you do.
He's fun. He doesn't show up very much in this season, although if/when we get season 2, he will show up much more. Playing these characters. We have, as Sayaka, we have Lindsay Shepard, who is known for being the narrator in Bananya and the Curious Bunch. Alka in Suppose a Kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town, plus a lot of video game roles. Chihiro is played by Michelle Mari, who you know as Noah Fukushima in D4 DJ First Mix, Fizzle and Sword Art Online Alicization, and Gyokuto and Yashihime. Yota is played by Kirian Flitton, who has a lot of minor roles in stellar shows like Actor Song Connection, City Hunter, Shinjuku Private Eyes, and Therame Romai. He's also done a lot of video game work. One I happen to like is he plays the character Henry Division in Paradise Killer. Also, fun fact, we were discussing earlier about how one positive side effect of the pandemic has been a lot more of people being able to be in shows dubbed outside of their range. And as far as I know, we have now maybe found the king of this, because Kirian is not based in Texas or California. He's not even based in the United States. He's based in England.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I thought you were going to say Canada.
He is a British actor. I think it's England, not Scotland. But he is a British actor. That's why he's in Paradise Killer, which is a British-made game. I'm not going to say that's the first I've encountered this, because I have no idea if that's true. But, hey!
Cool!
You wouldn't have found that last year. You wouldn't have found that 2 years ago.
No, fucking good for him. Good for him.
I know, right? Good on him. Isao is played by Casey Mongilo, who you know as Sho Suzuki in Mob Psycho 100, THX in Time of Eve, and Shinji Ikari in the 2019 dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Miku is played by Sarah Ann Williams, who you know as Midurai Ishiki in Kakigurui, Sayaka Miki in Madoka Magica,
did nothing wrong.
And Nonan Jakizure in Kill
Non.
Non, thank you. Ikuchi is played by Damon Mills, you know as Jiki Kudo in Kono Ote Otomore. Adalbert von Fahrenheit in Legend of the Galactic Heroes Die New Athis. And Cherry Blossom in Skate the Infinity.
Matcha Blossom is my religion!
That's true. And Tandori is played by Cameron Nikad, who plays a baker in Arte. And according to Andrew, does a lot of sort of video games and Machima roles on.
God, I love the.
So congratulations on having a big name role, dude. You sound great.
Okay, I just want to say I love the way you pronounce Machinima. It is just delightful. I love it. Thank you.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go in reverse order.
Go.
I guess I'm going first because I've been going first the entire time. So, fuck off. Tanadori. I wish Tanadori was in the show more. Cameron was great. They were really, really, really funny to me because this guy was stoic as fuck besides flexing his muscles, and he's just a nice guy. He's got like the nice guy voice where it's just like, you could break me in half, my good sir. But I respect that, and I respect you as a person, therefore we are bros. It's gonna sound really weird, is he gives me the same kind of vibes as, Ben Lepley's performance as Dedu in The Three Houses.
You know, I can kinda see it.
To which, oh boy, I kinda want to be on a certain show because I want to talk about Ben Lepley, but I might have to be on that episode now because I need to talk about Ben Lepley as the #1 Dedu show on the podcast. Ikeuchi, Damon Mills. Boy, Ikeuchi's a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a little fuckboy. And David Mills plays him as, like, this slimy kind of cowardice guy who, in the end, betrays them all. I think I read somewhere, like, his situation's really ambiguous in the manga, but in the anime they just outright kill him. Because you see, the braids start choking his neck.
Mm-hmm.
In the when he's, going out in the oleander field.
He broke a pinky promise.
Never break a pinky promise with a lesbian. God, don't you know?
Learned that one the hard way, let me tell you.
I think he does a really good job being, like, this kind of nerdy, insecure guy who's, like, clearly got a crush, but he doesn't want to say it to the girl he likes, and therefore he takes his jealousy out on everybody else, and he's got that very defensive quality in his voice. Sarah as Miku. This is the softest Sarah Ann Williams I have ever heard, because I know Sarah Ann Williams for going batshit. Literally, I see Non, and all I hear is Sarah Williams yelling, "Turn down for what?" I love that blooper so fucking much. I really like her. I love her delivery of "You're such a fucking slut." It's so, like, it's that moment, it's just, like, you can hear the pure frustration in her voice as Miku. Casey, Mongolino? Sorry, Casey, I'm bad at pronouncing names. They're an actor I've really wanted to talk about for a long time, because I think they got one of the, like, they had been in stuff before Ava, but getting thrust into suddenly being Shinji and being the most hotly contested voice of all time adds a lot to take on, and I love their Isao, their portrayal of this. They made him very soft, they made him very gentle, and you were very concerned for him, and yeah, he was kind of a creepy fuzz monster, but he was my creepy fuzz monster.
You know what? That's a good way of putting it.
You sounded...
I would raise that
do
boy.
anything
I would protect, and I want to see it grow strong. And you're just like, you're like the one. He was the one. Like, please don't let him die. That he was the one that I was gonna lose it. If Isao died, that was the one I was gonna be pissed at.
Yeah.
I thought they were super adorable and super soft, and you really felt for them in the end when they were playing the act. Yota, Kyrian, he was the one I was a little unsure of at first. He's the only person I genuinely felt like, okay, I might not totally be on board with this, but by the end of it, I was definitely down with him as Yota. He definitely got his sleazy flirting down to a science. Just his, Claire Bear, she's got grade A baps.
I love that.
Just like,
Of all the words you could have used,
Baps.
how do you go with
Tingle
Baps?
I'm so, I don't know if this...
No.
This show never did use Tingle Bitties, and I'm a little sad.
No. Although my absolute favorite, I forgot to mention this in the last two, was Madoka was looking at Claire and was like, ever since I laid eyes on your great big eyes, I've always...
My favorite...
The camera pans down to her chest.
I'm not gonna lie that one of my favorite pictures I've seen lately is a picture of Dimitri from Three Houses. Because he gets really muscular in the time skip. Just him wearing a really tight shirt that just says my eyes up here because he only has one eye later on. I laughed really hard at that, and I shouldn't have. I thought Kyrian was really great. Like, he got really great in this. Definitely believed that he had more to his sleeves by the end of it. Michelle Marie was adorable as Chihiro. Like, when Chihiro almost bit it, I was like, well, fuck, I liked you. And I thought she did a lot of the feral screaming really well, and I really want to compliment the mix team for the feral Chihiro Suichi Power Hour voices. Michelle Marie is a name I keep seeing pop up a lot, and I really like her work. I genuinely would like to get to see her play a lead in a Funimation show coming up soon. I think she has a really great sound and cadence to her voice. One of us finally fucking did it. You're welcome, Amber.
Oh, I get it.
Fuck.
And you need 2 counters now. But no, I really do. I realized when... Oh god, is she that poor girl in SAO Alicization who thinks that she has a chance in Kirito's harem?
No, she's one of the murder
fizzled.
lollies.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if that's the one you're talking about.
Andrew, you have to be a little more specific at SAO. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, so I genuinely enjoyed her. I thought that she did a lot of really great dramatic stuff later when she has to talk to Elena about Suichi's memories, because she kind of inadvertently becomes Suichi's keeper, and she kind of starts moving the plot towards what the fuck is up with him. And Lindsay Shepard as Sayaka, I don't really know a lot of Lindsay's work, and this was really great. I thought that she was a ton of fun. I thought she was, like, sexy, and the one thing I will say, though, is I don't genuinely appreciate the lesbian kind of rape aspect that was going on. It's just the thing of I don't genuinely like predatory LGBT moments.
It's a bad stereotype.
Yeah, it's a bad stereotype, and
I think it's a fair stereotype. I think it is a bad stereotype, but I would also argue she was also very much sexually abused, and that probably fucked with her a little.
Yeah. Yeah, still, don't know how that sat with me, but I liked Lindsay's performance a lot. It was mature, it was a little sexy, but it was also like this person who knows Elena, and she can't see what Claire sees in her, and she's got to slowly come to this realization that she's not meant for this game. And I thought that was a great job.
Yeah, that I'll do the opposite of what Megan did, and I'll go actually in the normal order here, just to piggyback off of the Sayaka thing, because you see her character design, and you're not really sure what her thing is, like her role in this entire game, and that's true for pretty much this entire group here. I mean, you see them, and even after you've gone through the whole show and you've seen what their personality types are like, you don't really think that they belong in this game. They're not power fighters. They're not super ambitious. They're not looking for cars, money, and women. They're just kind of like in this game to prevent other people from getting the power that comes with it. So I kind of respect that the show pivoted to focusing on them for a little while, especially starting with Sayaka, because while I agree with Megan that entire power lesbian dom kind of mentality, that archetype rather, is not healthy for portrayals of lesbians, because we still do have in some very evangelical circles that mentality that LGBT people are predators that need to be put down. We need to stop that. But honestly, aside from that, Lindsay's portrayal in this was pretty good, because she's got to play a couple of different facets. She's got to be in charge for most of it, but she's also got to be vulnerable, not just in her flashback moments, but when she realizes, holy shit, these two people who we brought in who I thought I understood are way crazier than I'm willing to put up with. We need to get out of this deal with them, like, now. And I also have not heard Lindsay in anything else before. I don't think. I'm looking through her credits. Yeah, I don't think so. But I can easily see her popping up in a lot more other shows as other archetypes that could really use her strong vocal performance. Same with Michelle Marie, which you all mentioned that she's very cute in this, and she is. You want to see cute and adorable, go to ANN and look up Michelle Marie's headshot that they use for her page. If you've already seen it, you know.
I think it's the one that she uses on Twitter too, and it's really cute.
Yes,
wait,
it is.
Wait, what? Wait, let me check.
Go look it up, Andrew.
Go look it up. Yes. So, and that absolutely is what was needed in this. This seemed like, now I didn't quite know why this character was written into this group here. Like, they established that this group is made up of people who are not the strongest fighters to begin with.
Oh!
But I'm sorry.
Andrew, she's your favorite in Kimono Friends.
Oh, I'm very much aware that, because, oh god, this is going to come up every time she's in the Sound Cadence thing. Yes, she is my favorite friend of the Kimono Friends. She is the good girl Toki.
Andrew, what species is she?
I'm going to look this up because I'm not playing this fucking game right now.
You know, how do you say the bird's name?
The Japanese crested ibis.
There we go. Sorry, back to your thing, Noah.
I believe it's pronounced ibis.
Noah, swear, shut the fuck up. Please move on. I'm not doing this again tonight.
So I didn't know why Chihiro's character was in this to begin with, but we got it. Okay, so like I was saying before, the thing I really like about this show is that it gives you the information in bits and pieces and unorthodox ways of doing it. We don't get like the flashback scene into Shuichi's past right away, but we do get an in-plot reason for it. Chihiro gets to see his mind. She gets to see his memories when they merge and turn into Cat Dog. And in that scene, we get like a very in-universe good explanation as to, you know, what his past was like, and some things that he isn't even privy to because, you know, he's had them blocked out, and we'll talk about that in the next scene here. But in that whole scene, Michelle, again, has to be very sweet and very adorable and very vulnerable sounding, and she does absolutely. And it's not just the cat girl thing. It's also the, like, she just sounds like the girl who you would absolutely break her heart if you turned her down when she asked you to the prom. She is the girl who is giving out Valentine's chocolate to all of the boys, not because she likes all of them, but just because she's a good person, and she deserves all of the chocolate as well. So Chihiro deserves all of the chocolate, and so does Michelle.
Don't feed her chocolate when she is Cat Dog, because half half of them will not like it.
That is unfortunately deadly to cats and dogs. So you're right. Please don't do that. Person who I do think would like the chocolate though would be Yota, because it also took me a little while to come around on what his character was supposed to be, because I had this belief as we were going into it, and especially as he started using pet names for Claire, that he was supposed to be a lot skeevier than the other characters. You know, he was going to be the one who betrayed them in some capacity, or the one that we weren't going to like for whatever reason. But I think storyline wise, it was just to delay what his power actually was, because he's the only one who's not disguised. You know, Chihiro's got the helmet on because she's a really big fan of Doolahans. Sayaka's got the hockey mask on because she just really loves those horror movies. Yota just really doesn't have a reason to hide his powers in any way. But Kieran did a good job, especially when the fight broke out. When he had to go balls to the wall ham, and he had to break out the big guns, and especially his lines of, he essentially says to the centipede guy, he's like, "Where's your god now?" That was a good performance. That was a good flip side to his personality. Casey, they also did a really good job as Plant Boy, because that was something that I don't think was established before. Like, if this was any other lesser manga or anime, they would have set up earlier in the show, like, the deadly poison that comes from these flowers when you burn them. They didn't do that in this show. It was just a really convenient way to get all of them out. Where did they establish it before?
Claire picks
before that episode.
Claire picks an at the end of one of the episodes, Claire picks up an oleander flower.
Does she? But she doesn't explain what it does.
No, she doesn't explain what she does, but she does sniff it, and she brings it with her for a reason.
So it's a Chekhov's gun.
Yes.
Okay, I must have missed that checkoff then. I apologize. But yeah, Casey's portrayal of this is really young sounding, which is fitting for the character, because despite the fact that Isao is transforms into a bigger monster, you do get the sense that he is like the youngest, the least experienced, the most precious of the entire group, even more so than Chihiro. And I am also glad that we're getting actors like Casey who are more LA based in Funimation dubs, because it gives a wider range of talent to be putting in these simul dubs. So excellent job, Casey. They did a really good job. I also have heard Sarah Ann Williams do great things, like carry the entire Madoka Magica dub on their back. And it is good to hear her again in this, in a completely different kind of role, though. She is not playing Sayaka, she's not playing Nanon in this. She is playing Daria. She's playing the I am done with this world shit, and I just want to disappear. Although I have to wonder, if her power is invisibility, why does she need to wear the cloak?
Because
you gotta find her somehow.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm curious, does the Daria reference have like a double meaning in and of itself?
I wouldn't say it a double meaning. It's just her, I'm so done with this world, and can I heat it up for you, delivery reminded me of that misanthropic teenage girl archetype.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, like, I actually got a really, like, hard laugh where she's literally using "can I heat it up for you" as, like, an emotional bonding pickup line. I was like, oh my...
And they're like, it's you!
I don't know what other lesbian pickup lines there are out there, okay? I know all the bad guy pickup lines. I don't know the lesbian ones.
They're the same as the bad guy pickup lines.
With a little less dick.
Like, none at all.
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah, Sarah Ann did well in that. And it was nice because I've never heard her do that kind of voice before. I've heard her in all the other roles that Amon listed before. So it's kind of nice to hear her, especially when she got really vulnerable in the scene where she's proposing essentially becoming a hitman and taking out Madoka in the scene where they're trying to make their escape, where she doesn't sound dead to the world in that scene. She actually sounds like very concerned for her teammates. That was also refreshing. I really think that you guys are all going to say the same thing on Damon Mills. The boy's a fuckboy who just needs to get him some magazines, all right? Stop filming the girl undressing. Stop lusting after the ones that you're never going to have. Just get some pornography like the rest of us. have yourself a good afternoon and get some stress relief, okay?
Homeboy's got some
right
major
said,
incel energy, I'll tell you what.
Madoka's right. He was talking about how stress is going to kill you one day. And it is. And you know what's good stress relief? I'm just saying. Speaking of stress relief, Tadanori is the kind of guy who I agreed with Andrew. I kind of wish he showed up a little bit more. And it felt like the show was leading into him showing up more because they established him in episode 5, I think it was, as an ally after their friendly battle happened. But he doesn't show up again. But for the one episode that he was in, it was really fun to hear Cameron because it was a different kind of fighter in this whole thing. He's not in it for the coins. He's just looking for the strongest of the strong. And that may be a bit of an archetype that may be a little worn in fighting anime and some battle anime. But for this show, it was kind of fitting because he was like the only adult who we ran into. Everybody else was like late teens or early 20s at least. I know he's a college student, but he had the maturity of someone who's been around a little bit longer. Speaking of someone who has not been around a little bit longer or has much maturity, Andrew.
Oh God, how long did it take you to write that one, buddy? Okay, anyways, God, okay. So, I'm gonna start with, I have to open this tab back up. Tadanori. I'm very, very familiar. Okay, let's see. I'll start with, I really love Tadanori. This was a guy I'm like, oh, you're gonna be evil psycho monster man. But no, you're just like a weird, deranged, like, psycho shonen guy in, like, a death game scenario. But you're also just kind of a cool dude. Like, I like the fact that they have to do a creative way to beat him in battle. And he's like, huh, that was pretty creative. That was rad. I like you guys. Let's hang out. And then he kills a murder goblin for them and is like, okay, we're friends now. But then just leaves the show because he's like, hey, you're gonna hang out with a bunch of other friends. They seem like nerds. Come hang out with me when you want to be friends with a real Chad. And then they do. And then the show ends. Like, they're literally about to hang out with him again, and then the show ends. I'm like, fuck you.
Who were they gonna hang out with again?
Oh yeah, the big dude with the knife hands.
God, that dude is rocking some major, like, berserk energy in his design. As for Cameron, I'm very familiar with his online work back in the days, and I really like that I'm getting to hear him pop up in more anime things. He's got a really cool, really, like, casual, calm voice that gets really, like, angry and powerful when it wants to as Tadanori, and he does a really great job selling it. I really like Cameron, and I really want to hear him particularly more things. Damon Mill, we love him. Fantastic actor, amazing actor, a fantastic person. Ikeuchi fucking sucks, and that dude is just a hardcore, like, voyeuristic incel boy. And God, I knew somebody was gonna have to drop. I knew somebody was going to have to, like, show off Sayaka's power, but it felt satisfying that it was him and not Chihiro. Like, I thought it was gonna be Chihiro the second she called Elena. I'm like, oh. Which, man, I'm amazed at how her calling Elena, it's like, oh, I thought you were just gonna straight up die. Like, I'm glad. She's a good baby. Ikeuchi is a fuckboy and probably an incel. But Damon Mills does a fantastic job playing the bitch baby incel boy. Miku Aihara, stoic, gay cashier at a oh my god, why am I convenience store. Thank you. No, Sarah's just a very stoic, quiet, gay girl who's doing her best to try and make her crush notice her, but her crush has too much emotional and sexual trauma. That puts a damper on a lot of relationships, doesn't it? But no, Sarah Williams does a really good job playing this character who I thought I wasn't going to care about, but no, they have a pretty fun presence, and I think they're pretty cute. Casey, they are really good at this great little green thumb giant. just the sweetest boy, the goodest boy. I know he's like a creepy, like, homunculi monster, but I would give him all of the head pats and I would scratch his little ears because he deserves it. I want him to be happy. I want him to grow up healthy and strong and not deal with the trauma that something he grew killed a couple dozen people.
Although I have to wonder, like, why did he turn into that particular being? Like, in one part of his wish was it, I wish to have a green thumb, and I want to look like the Bumble from the Rudolph special.
The Bumble?
Okay.
That's the first Yeti I could think of, sorry.
Alright, sure. But...
It was called the Bumble?
But no, I think Casey does a really good job making Isao sound precious, adorable, but also a little bit, like, intimidating and threatening, too, while also just being sweet and precious. Kieran as Yota. Not a name I'm familiar with, not a name I've ever heard of. No, first time hearing him. Really made a good impression on me as he went along, being the cool action guy, the dorky sleaze guy. Yeah, no. Kieran does a really good job, and yeah, all the good lines about him being like, yo, Claire Bear, and... Oh, wait, God, hang on. What was the other thing that he said when they're trying to introduce each other? I know you wrote it down in the chat. No, I'm gonna find it. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that's our boss, Sayaka. And she loves ladies. I'm like, oh, okay, I appreciate the fact that he is a fuckboy, but as soon as he found out the boss lady played for the other team, he's like, okay, cool. He respects her enough that he's not going to fucking, like, skeeve on her. He knows that she has her priorities elsewhere, so he's like, okay, cool. Anyways, pleasure to...
He knows this clam bake is closed.
Yes. But yeah, no, Kieran does a good job. Chihiro. I really, every time I keep hearing Michelle's work, like, I keep continuing to be impressed with Michelle's work. She has very different performances in all the things I've heard her lately. She sounds very different as Toki. She sounds very different as Katarina in Arte. And she does also sound very different as Chihiro. She is precious sweet cinnamon roll, too good for this earth. Also, her screams are fucking terrifyingly monstrous and insane. I love Chihiro. They are fantastic. They are cool. They are insanely fucking epic. Like, I appreciate the non-binary gem fusion that is these two. But God bless. Michelle Marie.
Now put him in Super Smash Brawl.
Yes!
Sure. But yeah, no. Chihiro, really great job. Lindsay Shepard as Sayaka. Really compelling performance. She is, like, intimidating. She is sexy. She is, like, really, like, also kinda, like, tragic, too. Not only just the fact that, like, her whole backstory is fucked, and it is tragic, but also, like, yeah, this death game sucks. These people I brought into my team are monsters. I don't want to do this anymore. I want out. This is terrible. I hate this. And just kind of dealing with the guilt and the trauma of the fact that they're kind of inadvertently killed a bunch of people and just kind of wants out of this game. I think Lindsay sells all the drama, all the heartache, all of, like, the sexiness, and just all of that. She just really gets all of lesbian Voorhees down perfectly.
All right. Yeah, I think all these performances are great. I think Karen does a good job as Tadanori, just being, like, you know, the big scary guy who turns out is actually pretty cool once you get to know him, assuming he doesn't want to squish you like a grape. David does a lot of voices in his repertoire, and it's interesting to see him add shitty incel to that. You're good at it, you know? I wasn't expecting anything less, David. You're great. Thanks. Sarah's a lot of fun as Miku, as just being very, like, sullen and you know, sarcastic, but also, you know, she's got some heart to her. It's nice. Casey's really great as Isao. Just What a sweet kid. Just wants to grow some plants. What a guy. I hope you feel better, dude. That's rough. Kieran's really a lot of fun as Yota. Just I agree with what everyone said. Like, he just does a good job of being like sort of a sleazy jerk who hits on people, but he never crosses into being annoying for the audience, and I appreciate that. He plays that well. Michelle's just really adorable as Chihiro, who's so cute, and I'm glad she's okay. And Lindsay, I think, she brings a lot of like just good, like, you could tell, like, yeah, Sayaka's the boss here. Like, she's very in charge, and she's not evil, but like she is going to like make it clear that like, no, I'm running this show, and you need to respect that.
She is in fact girl boss.
Well, not like that, but yeah. We like her.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyways, on to our last group of characters, our leads.
Oh boy.
We have Shuichi Kaguya. He's a very normal high school student who turns into a big mascot costume sometimes, and he doesn't understand why. Later we find out it's because another character we're talking about here, Elena, they used to be dating, they got involved in the death game, and then Elena wiped selected parts of his memory so he wouldn't remember that. This also includes horrifying things like the fact that his parents are dead, and he just doesn't realize
his parents aren't exactly dead, they've been undone.
Yeah, so he just wanders around his increasingly dusty house, not realizing that anything.
Okay,
is wrong.
that last episode where like Claire, who is basically the deranged like psychotop of the two, is legitimately horrified about the fact that he has dissociated so hard he does not know how bad his home looks. That scene freaked me the fuck out.
Also, fun fact, that is I've caught up with the manga in English. That is not something from the manga. That is a scene new to the anime.
That doesn't surprise me.
We don't know what the deal in the story with Shuichi's parents are, but like, even if that's what happened in story, like, we have not hit that part in the manga yet. Like, that's an anime only scene.
Interesting.
Right now. So,
okay.
Good job, guys.
I mean, I could have fooled me.
However, everything goes awry when he meets Claire Aoki. She goes to his school. She has a very domineering personality, and she wants to know why her sister apparently burned her house down and killed her parents and also turns into a monster. So she figures she'll hook up with this weirdo and get to the bottom of it, mainly. And her sister, of course, is Elena, who, well, we saw how things turned out for her and why she's on this particular path. So no one in the story gets a good deal. It's just raw deals all the way down.
Except Nana.
Yeah, Nana's gonna come out of here alive. Good for her. Also, like, Elena turns into a big smoke monster as well.
Nana, please run.
It's fun.
Nana, please.
Anyways, playing these characters, Suichi is played by Rai McKeon, who you know for playing Rito Yuki in To Love Ru, Magic Lin in Sorcerer Stabber Orphan, and you can hear him currently as Udo in the final season of Attack on Titan. Claire is played by Brittany Karbowski, who you know as Eddie from Angels of Death, Kami Utsushimi in My Hero Academia, and Black Star in Soul Eater. And Elena is played by Morgan Le Ray, who you know as Kari Makimura in City Hunter Shinjuku Private Eyes, Swell Wreck in Listeners, and Yuko Ai in Aoi in Nichijou, Our Ordinary Life. Megan, would you like to wrap us up for us?
I was going to say, I don't think you can hear Rai's character in Attack on Titan anymore.
Oh no.
Baked potatoes. Things that make Attack on Titan fans cry. I'll start out with Elena, who is a lot of what I like and what made me fall in love with Morgan Le Ray as an actress. It's very quiet and very dramatic, but when it needs to be absolutely fucking feral, she nails it. At first, I thought she was a psycho yandere, and I'm glad that she evolved into being something beyond that, and I actually feel that way about both of the sisters. Because you genuinely feel for her. Like, she's doing all these awful things because it's the only way she knows to prevent more awful things from happening. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the whole thing with David Trenga's guy to prevent, because somebody murdered, I must commit more murder. Except for that's not how moral math works.
The only way to protect the Declaration of Independence is to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Nicolas Cage has entered the death battle.
Oh god, that'll be screwed.
I'm going to steal the 100 coins. I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna steal the Holy Grail.
He would too.
At some point, Nicolas Cage is going to be a heroic spirit, and none of us are gonna handle it. But what class would he be? Find out on the next Fate episode that Dub Talk does. But no, Morgan's portrayal of Elena is something that is a person haunted by their pasts. And she's trying, and she's such a nice person. Like, you can tell that she never wanted this life. Like, she's nice. She only goes psycho when Claire was inside Shinichi's body. So, I think she just doesn't want anybody macking on her man, and understandable when she's literally trying to prevent him from being undone from the universe. Brittany Karbowski's Claire. This is some of my favorite Brittany Karbowski work. A lot of people really like this. And I actually thought that this would be a lot hornier, because I thought Claire would be a lot hornier of a character. But she's not. She's a very complicated person who's trying to deal with the death of her parents by her sister's hand. She's got to deal with a lot of things, and she thinks that she is an empty person as much as Shinichi does. And I really love Brittany's performance of carrying, like, this broken person who is clearly trying to appear stronger and smarter than she actually is, because she knows that 1 second of weakness is where she's gonna get her neck snapped. And she's dealing with a person who, at the beginning of the show, doesn't necessarily believe in his own strength. And I really want to give Rai a lot of credit. He sounded like he had been doing, like, action drama shows his entire life. Like, there was never something that felt off-putting about his performance as Shinichi. A lot of people I've known has called Shinichi a whiny character, a bitchy character, probably because they don't realize that, hey, being traumatized makes you sad. And he's got to play this thing where he is so integral to the loop of the plot loop of knowing what the fuck is going on, because it involves him so much, but he is locked so far out of it that he can't even see it right. And he's got to play this level of horny dumb teenager and sad boy. And, like, he's not horny dumb like Cameraman. It's that he's such a multifaceted character, and he's got this strange power that only works when he needs to protect others, but he's so much of a coward. And Rai really does get that tremendous performance, and he's an actor that I think we've known as Dub Talk just a little while, because we've met him at cons so many times.
Yeah, we have! He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. But, like, his performance in this felt effortless. And that's a lot to say for a show that, like Gleipnir, that is incredibly horny and incredibly twisted, but it's not in the way that's it's off-putting to viewers, but if you're willing to realize that it's being horny for a reason and not horny for the sake of her make pee-pee big.
The horniness feels like it blends with the vibe of the show instead of, like, taking you out of it. It's sex
and violence that, honestly, like, I never felt like the sex and violence in the show got super gratuitous. And that's saying something, because everybody told me that Gleipnir was the horny show. Anyway, I adore the three core of this cast, and I think of all the people, I know Brittany Karbowski gets a ton of praise, and, like, at this point, like, Brittany Karbowski turning in a bad performance is, like, once in a blue moon, but to me, I think Rai is the one who really anchored the show. I think that his performance as Tsuichi enables the rest of the show, because while he has to get wild, he also has to react to a lot of these wild personalities around him. And for an actor that I think that, yes, he's had leads in other places. He's obviously the lead in To Love Brew. He was one of the leads, I think, in This Boy Suffers from Crystallization. But for being in a show like this, that is a very dark and horny show that isn't going to appeal to the main masses, and obviously To Love Brew is obviously very horny, but it's horny comedy. And that, I think, is a lot easier for people to sit up and eat down, like it's sugar. And this is more or less, it's the difference between eating one slice of cake and Gleipnir is like that scene in Matilda where the kid's being made to eat the chocolate cake.
That's not a comparison I'd make, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah, horny's not the word I would use for this either. Although I will disagree a little bit on on you saying that it's not as gratuitous.
It's not as gratuitous as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Because as I was watching this and I was writing my notes on it, I really liked the visual direction of this show. There's a lot in here that we can talk about in final thoughts, but it felt and looked a lot different than the standard what I was expecting out of it. And then the sexier elements, I gotta get down to my underwear to climb inside of you, or the camera angle panning over girls at like ass level. That just felt a little more tacked on than I guess I was expecting from this story. It felt like the thing was the biggest compromise when it came to making this accessible to their target demographic. But when it comes to the actual acting itself, Rai is really, it's so sad because as the show started, the very first episode, the thing I wrote down is, "Aw, he's so nice, ... What's gonna go wrong? ? Exclamation point.
Oh boy, does it.
We knew from the get-go it wasn't gonna go well. But the thing is that, and I'm glad that, Megan, you brought up the thing that people think Shuichi is whiny, because we've heard whiny shonen protagonists before, ones who are kind of carried around the show by other people's goodwill. And the thing about Rai is that he understands that this is a character who would not willingly choose to be in this based on their regular personality. But because they are in it now and it's too late, they do man up to stay alive in it. They stick to their convictions of protecting other people while still protecting themselves when their lives is in danger. That whole scene where they're fighting against, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, sword hand guy. He comes up with a strategy that will actually help them survive this, because they know they can't beat him on pure strength alone. And Rai vocalizes that portion of it without coming across as too tough, too kick-ass. He's still just, again, an overwhelmed teenage boy. So yeah, Rai definitely, I need to hear him in more stuff, because he's definitely taken that helm of good standout male protagonist without being kickable. You don't dislike the character at all, and I think a good chunk of it is because Rai just makes him that likable. The part that really surprised me was actually Brittany Karbowski as Claire. Not because I didn't think that she could do a role like this. If you just watch the last Pine Jam show, Gamers, you know that she can do very over-the-top acting. But again, that was a comedy.
Yeah,
that was
you're right.
Yep, she was Tendo in Gamers. So, but hearing her here, she did a voice that I'm sure she's done before, but I don't think I've heard it, at least on a leading role. And that was this absolutely, it was lower toned, very conniving, badass girl. It's just not what I pegged Brittany for. Like, I think of her as, she's in Show by Rock, or she's in Canon, or she's in School Live, and she's always the chipper, peppy, upbeat person with a high-pitched voice that makes you want to smear honey on your ears. And we don't get that here. We get something very different. I would really like to know what the audition process was like, because I want to know how did Brittany blow away everyone else who could do this kind of voice and absolutely blow them out of the water, because it was the perfect casting choice on this. The thing about Claire throughout the whole thing is that she modulates pretty heavily between soft and angry voice, and she's got all those flavors in between that make her a really fun voice to listen to. Like, Brittany gets her soft and meditative moments when she's thinking, how are we gonna escape from these guys? She gets the absolutely nutters vocal performances when she's going up against characters who are 10 times stronger than them, and she even gets to be a little coy too when she says, so how about this, we go see the movie, and then afterwards we go back to your place and bone. might have been a dog joke, but more than anything else, it was just fun to listen to Brittany make silly jokes like that. But anyways, Brittany did a really good job. But now Megan said that Rai was the anchor for this show as far as the vocal performance, and he was on the emotional level. But the one who I think did it the best was Morgan Le Ray as Elena. And that is because in her first appearance, she goes through about 3 major character shifts in about 5 minutes. She goes with an emotional confession when she is like very sorry about the situation that she's gotten Shuichi into. Then she has a monstrous freak out when she realizes that there's somebody inside of him, and she literally rips his head off. It's not very often we get to say that literally. And then afterwards, there's a dime flip right after that into this sentimental heartbreak of just absolute heart-crushing emotions, because she's the only one who knows what's going on. She's the only one with her memory still intact as to why Puppy Dog Boy turns into human costume that looks like the characters from that Disney show on Disney+. So, yeah, Morgan's entire handling of that is very impressive, and I got to give that the highest props I could for a performance.
Andrew?
Alrighty, so...
Before Andrew starts, I want to ask him a question.
Yes, Megan?
Do you want to know who plays Claire in the Japanese version of Gleipnir?
Who does, in fact, play Claire in the Japanese version of...
Her name is now Tomoya. Toyama.
Oh my god, Rin? Rin?
Yes, from way back camp. Yep.
Oh my fucking god, that...
By the way, yes, I know that Suichi in Japanese is Natsuki
Is
Hayane.
Natsuki-
That's why I checked the show out in the first place.
I was gonna say, I figured you must have known that Shuichi is Natsuki Hanae. Okay, cool.
Of course. Why would I not? Also, Elena is apparently Kana Hanazawa.
Yeah, that checks out. Okay, so, starting off, I'm going to say, I'll start with Rai on this one. Rai is definitely proving to be a person to watch in the voice acting sphere, because he's done a couple of pretty fun, entertaining roles, but I definitely feel like of what I've seen and what I'm aware of him being cast in, Shuichi is definitely a very complicated one, because he goes from being soft boy, tragic backstory, didn't mean to get into this, to I am the one who knocks. He goes from being the one who is thrust into danger to literally going, I am the danger.
I like his way of reloading the gun is to literally bite out the bullets.
Oh, that was
make them.
Oh, that was fucking metal. I like that too. That was great. But no, Rai has a very great like emotional resonance to him, where he sounds soft, sweet, sad, tragically like traumatized, but also violently feral, angry, monstrous. Like the entirety of Chihiro is you hear not only Michelle's angry feral monster screams, but you also hear a lot of Rai's in there too, and Rai sells the anger, the violence, the hatred. Like, oh god. Rai gets all the like edgy shonen stuff in there hard. He gets the drama, the tragedy, and all of that. Good on you, Rai. Brittany Karbowski, she's a legend. She's iconic. Like, at this point, you're right. It's hard to find bad Brittany Karbowski performances. But holy shit. Claire is sexy. Claire is deranged, unhinged, frightening, tragic, complicated, everything in between. She has some fantastic chemistry and some stupendous delivery. She can make me laugh. She can make me creeped out. She can make me uncomfortable. She can make me uncomfortably... Claire Aoki is uncomfortably horny at times, and it works. It works really, really well. But God, Brittany really sells a lot of the drama, the funny, and tragic sides of Claire as well. And Elena Aoki. So before I go more to Morgan Le Ray, I'm just gonna say Morgan Le Ray is fantastic. She's got, as it was said, several different sides to her, figuring out what her character is. And I spent a lot of the show trying to figure out what her character is. Is she another protagonist? Is she the villain? Is she the final boss? Is she a passive, like, supporter? Is she good? Is she bad? And then it dawned on me as we were prepping up to record. I realized exactly what Elena Aoki is. Elena is a Virgil. To explain what a Virgil is, Virgil...
This is what you were talking about Got with, isn't it?
Yes. This is what I was talking about with our buddy Got MLK7. Very great dude. Wonderful dude. Wonderful, girls love comic, love and be love on Webtoon. I'm shilling out for you, buddy, because I'm using your meme template for this. So a Virgil is basically the rival of... The Virgil is basically the opposite of the protagonist. They are kind of like their yin to their yang, so to speak. There are a lot of characters that could be Virgils, but let's look at this now and decide, is Elena the Virgil to Claire's Dante? Are they a Virgil? Here's the template of what we got. We have 10 boxes to checkmark. Rival, recurring fights, family member, morally ambiguous, better than you, contrasting personality, color contrast, similar playstyle, penultimate or final boss, and playable. So, since this is an anime, we can take off similar playstyle, penultimate, final boss, and playable. But there are still 7 boxes. Is Elena the rival? Yes. Recurring fights. There are several fights and encounters with Elena throughout the series, and probably even more in the manga. Checked. Family member. Quite literally her sister. Check. Morally ambiguous. Boy fucking howdy is she ever. Contrasting personality. This bitch got personality for days. She's already contrasting. Color contrast. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's got the color contrast. She is literally darker color palette to Claire's brighter color palette. And this one's one I have to argue with the masses. Better than you. Would you say that
Yes!
Elena is in fact better than Claire? Okay.
Yes.
So, going up...
Sorry, Claire! I want your sister to win!
Oh boy, so you actually think Elena deserves Shuichi more.
She had him first.
Oh boy, okay, so, thanks.
First dibs!
So, with this wonderful Are they a Virgil template, she cannot be an S, a double S, or a triple S, because this is a anime and not a video game. But she is a rank A Virgil candidate. 7 out of 10 boxes are fulfilled for Elena Aoki as far as the Virgil.
I'm sorry, you've got a case of the Virgils.
I'm sorry, Elena. You are indeed the Virgil of Gleipnir.
It's terminal.
It's terminal.
It's terminal.
Congratulations.
Andrew, tell us about the performances. We've been here for almost 3 hours.
Holy sh...
It's 11:30,
Oh,
dude.
God. I need to be out of here soon. Anyways, Morgan Le Ray. She's
it
very
up.
good. She's very good. She's got all the complex personalities that Elena needs. She's great. She's fantastic. She made me feel for her. She made me scared. She made me frightened. She also made me feel for her. Morgan is good. I'm literally still here because I really wanted to get the virtual bit done. I've been planning this the entire night. Thank you.
All right. Okay. These are good performances. I think Morgan does a lot of... Elena is a much more complicated character than she seems at first, and I think Morgan does a really good job of capturing that, especially her, like, the tragic aspects of it. I really enjoyed her performance. I think Rai does a very, very good job as Suichi, who also is a lot more complicated than he seems. Like, I remember reading some reviews, I think kind of like about midway through the show airing, that were kind of about how he's very purposely, like, you know, he doesn't have a lot of character to him, and that is sort of true, but I think the thing that kind of bears out over the long term is that he also has a lot more depth to him than it seems like. And I think Rai does a really good job of capturing his character and making him feel important and interesting and like somebody you want to follow around. And Brittany's just great. Like I agree. Like I think she is absolutely perfect as Claire. I can only assume that she got this role for everyone else just because the director was like, yeah, how much rasp can you put in your voice? Oh, that much? Oh, yeah, you're getting hired. Yeah, she's a delight. I'm really happy with this cast. I really hope we get a season 2 because I really want to hear all these people say more of this. Let us move on to final thoughts. Megan?
Yeah. So, this show was great. I'm desperately wanting a second season now. Funimation, daddy, please whip out your wallets. Please co-pro more of this. This is the good type of horny.
What was the GIF that you put in the chat?
It's from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Zuko's. Yep. That's it. Where's the rest of it? And he's just trying to find the rest of it. I need this. I need more. So, very good, awesome. Have a great time. But I really do want to shout out Amber's direction and Leah's writing, as well as Sound Cadence's efforts in this. This dub came out great. You would have never known that this was recorded at home. It sounded fantastic. The mix was great. She was just absolutely awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Definitely tell people to get this one to check out. And stuff, and I would definitely. I actually have plans on pre-ordering this, and I'm kind of hoping it gets a nice limited edition
LE.
because it's a co-pro. So that's my feelings.
Nice.
Noah?
So, I was impressed by the dub for this, because it met all the expectations I had for a professional Funimation dub with the material that it was given. I was very surprised that the cast did not make it as goofy or as schmaltzy as they easily could have. Now, I understand that Funimation has a vetted interest in making each dub the same level of quality as every other one, even if the show itself may not entirely deserve it. There have definitely been some C-tier anime that have gotten A-grade dubs. And so we're very fortunate that they did so the same for Gleipnir as well, because I do think this is an A-tier show itself. Not just because I love blood and violence, but I mean, obviously I do. I mean, that one scene where they just took Shuichi and Chihiro and you could like actually see their stuff all bloody enough stuff. I was like, wow, that's not getting broadcast on Toonami anytime soon.
The goopy bits.
The reason yes, the goopy bits are not getting shown. But the thing I want to really point out as we wrap this up is that Pine Jam seems like a really troubled studio when it comes to managing their finances, but they have a really unique way of actually animating the facial expressions of their characters. It actually breaks from the stock facial expressions that you would get. It's like I can see variations on the facial expressions from the same standard surprised, happy, sad faces that you would traditionally get. So I want to really commend Pine Jam for making it fun to watch this show. Like, you really can appreciate the craft of animation when watching this particular production. And thankfully, all the dub actors helped match those facial expressions with their range of acting as well. So yes, Amber did an amazing job in the direction. Leah Clark, every time she gets to write on something where she gets to make quips, I am all there for that. This is just like with Toilet Bound Hanaka-kun, which I also called out as being a show where I'm not even writing down like criticism of the writing. I'm just writing down my favorite lines at this point. So yeah, definitely check this out and definitely bug all the people who can make the difference to make a second season.
No, before we go on, I just want... What do you think schmaltz means?
Schmaltzy? Is like,
Yeah. Schmaltzy means sentimental.
Yeah.
Are you looking for schlock?
I just repeated what Andrew said.
I didn't...
Yeah, I think Andrew
Wait,
said
I don't
too.
even remember saying that.
Look, you know,
I probably did.
Andrew, what do you think? What do you think of this? Andrew, what do you think of this dub?
You know what? I will say the show is a little schlocky. But I will also say it is very... Like, this feels like the kind of thing I wouldn't like, but it was actually a lot more fun, interesting, creative, and better written than I anticipated it would be. I enjoyed it. It was very interesting, for sure. The dub itself definitely elevated a lot of this for me. The cast is strong, the deliveries are solid, and boy, the script is fucking great. It's got some bangers in there. It's just delightful. This was a very entertaining show, and I continue to be really impressed with Sound Cadence's output as a studio for strong quality dub productions that are also quite ambitious in their scope of who they bring on to work on them. Kudos all around to Sound Cadence. They really zipped this one shut. Ah, God, no, that one's lame.
No.
No, your pun privilege has been revoked.
Wait.
Too bad.
They did not screw the pooch.
No.
They did not screw the pooch. Good. Got it. Great.
All right, fine.
Thank
get
you.
that
I'm
one.
done.
Yeah, no, this dub is a delight. I was looking forward to the show when it got announced. I was kind of surprised it got a show to begin with, if I'm being honest. This feels too weird for TV, but hey. But the show ended up being really good, and the dub's really fantastic. I think it's really well executed on all fronts. I'm really happy with it. I hope we do get that season 2, and I hope everyone's able to come back and make that one just
God,
as
the
good as this.
ending of the show is bad.
It's only bad if we don't get a season 2.
If it doesn't get a season 2, then it's garbage.
Having read the manga, this is about the only place they could have ended it without having to go, like, basically make their own ending.
Fair.
So, consider that. Anyways, if you'd like to watch this, you can watch it on Funimation's website. They have a 14-day free trial, so you can check it out if you don't already have a subscription. If you'd like to listen to more of us, we're Dub Talk. We are on Dub Talk Podcast on all your major platforms, your Twitters, your YouTubes, what have you. If you can listen to us on YouTube, which you probably are now. If you prefer the audio-only thing, we are also on Podbean, so check us out there. We also have a Patreon and a Ko-fi. If you sub to our Patreon at a certain level, you can get your name read out on the episode. So we'd like to thank our $5 tier members, Megan's mom and dad.
Hi, Mom. Hi,
Thank you,
Dad.
Megan's mom and dad. Michelle Travis, Miraculous Corazon, Nico Robin, but with yaoi hands, Sue Tweet. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Sue, but thank you. And Victor Mayboroda. And our $10 tier, Carly Lesticow, Crimson Echidna, Jacob Wilson, J2, aka Jared, Julia W, Marissa Lenti, and Otaku Anthony. Megan, where can people find you on the internet?
Follow me at Queener2. I ship posts.
Noah.
You can follow me on Twitter at Noah Clue, where I like to discuss all the world of animation and post pictures of my children, because when you have children, you get to post them.
Hi, my name is Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can find me over on Twitter at MangaMan9000. As far as my other things I do, I'm a moderator for the Funimation Discord, and I am also a member of Surreal Resolutions Podcast ONA, a podcast where we talk about anime news and updates with alongside a fellow Dub Talk podcast co-host, Jet. Sorry, I'm a little tired. This is also probably going to be my last recording of any kinds of podcast for like a good month or so, because a lot of big life changes of the good variety are happening, and I need to clear my plate to get that stuff done.
Congratulations.
Indeed. And you can find me on amonduel.us on Twitter. I talk about a lot of things, but I like talking about music. And I have a song for you tonight. My original pick was going to be the song Nasty Gal by Betty Davis, who is Miles Davis's ex-wife, who he apparently was mildly terrified of, because that's who Betty Davis is. She's great. Go check her out. However, prior to us, I'll be honest, the bad touch by the Bloodhound Gang had not occurred to me for this. That's when you get down to it, that's really the correct choice. So let's make that the other choice for this episode. Also, if you finish the show and want to get your Gleipnir...
If you were any of our ages, there is a chance that you know every fucking word to the Bloodhound Gang's that song. Can I tell you though? Can I make a very, very quick story about that song?
Let me finish the thing first. Hold on. If you need your Gleipnir fix and you've already finished the show, the manga is being published in the United States by Kodansha Comics. There are 8 volumes out now. 9, I believe, is supposed to come out, I think, in April, and I believe 10 is currently slated for September. So go check that out.
All right, can I tell?
You're saying, Megan?
So I want to tell a quick story about the song, that song with what happening? It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Bad Touch? Is it called?
Yeah.
The Bad Touch.
Yeah. So I once was in the car in upstate New York with my uncle, his partner, and my mom. My uncle, my mom, and me were in one car, and my dad, my uncle's partner, and my other uncle, who's wheelchair bound, were in another. So I'm in the car, and I guess my uncle had his CD on, which is just like their mixtape at the time. This was like probably 8 or 9 years ago. And it was full of things, and eventually, this song comes on. And I look at my uncle and just put the biggest shit-eating grin on my face. Because I know I was like 16 or 17, and I knew every fucking word of Bad Touch at 16. I appreciate your input.
Alrighty.
Anyways, and with that, good night, folks. Have fun. Watch out for
Good night, everybody. Otaku on, and make sure to ask consent before you pet the puppy.
Rock on Boston, rock on Chicago.
Aloha.
Bow wow wow.
Help with the national coin shortage.
誘